7 p.m. till 8 p.m. Monday through Thursday. And there you will get opinion, analysis, debate, and I'll cover stories that nobody else dares to touch. And then for the last 15 minutes, talking pints. We're over a drink. We have a civilised conversation with someone. We very often disagree, but we do it in a grown-up way. Come and join me on Farage.
I'm Colin Brazier. I've reported from more than 70 countries around the world, covered wars from Afghanistan to Iraq, from Lebanon to the Balkans. I'm trying to bring that experience, that feel for events, to the studio. And something else. I'm ready to give an opinion. Today's stories with a spark. Brazier from 8 p.m. weekdays on GB News.
Good morning, it's Christmas Eve and there's no better way to wake up than with the Great British Breakfast.
Yes, well, we've got a packed show for you this morning, so coming up, a double dose of hope, everybody, after new studies show that Omicron variant is actually milder. The Telegraph reports the Prime Minister will give only strong advice to limit indoor mixing next week, stopping short of proposing new rules.
Together or apart, however you're spending Christmas this year, we'll have a guide to the do's and don'ts when it comes to the festive period with an etiquette expert. That's a good one for you.
Well, exactly, yes. lack of etiquette in my case. But anyway, if you're a betting person, what odds are you putting on it being a white Christmas? The Met Office will be giving us their prediction.
And Patrick and I will be going head-to-head in the ultimate rap battle. That is right. And we don't mean the hip-hop rap. We actually do mean
Well, it
Christmas
depends how it goes.
Yeah.
See how it goes.
Just a little bit on top of that.
OK, well, and this morning we want to know who should make Santa's naughty and nice list. There we go. Talk to us on GBViews at gbnews.uk and, of course, get in touch on Twitter at GBNews.
Yep. People in England will be able to get their COVID booster jabs on Christmas Day and Boxing Day as the NHS ramp up efforts to tackle Omicron.
So the Prime Minister, Boris Johnson, has used his Christmas message to urge people to get a booster vaccine, calling it a wonderful gift. It
comes as an official report confirms the Omicron variant is milder than the Delta variant, who knew? And further restrictions now look less likely. New Year's Eve may indeed be saved after all.
Yes, but The Times is reporting this morning, excuse me, that some people may need a fourth jab to remain protected. So Professor Adam Finn said, I think there may well be people who received their boosters early who are in the older and more vulnerable age groups who may need a further jab. That has not been decided yet, adding it's still under review.
I want to turn this into a nation of pincushions, don't they?
Yeah.
Well, in the last 24 hours, 119,789 people have tested positive for COVID, which, in fact, is the highest level since the pandemic began.
Well, at least we're setting records somewhere, aren't we, I suppose? And that surge in Omicron cases is keeping shoppers away from the high street. So in Melton Mowbray, home of the pork pies...
Home of the pork, I love
Melton Mowbray,
pie.
off of pork pies. Queues were so much shorter, apparently, before the pandemic, unless you're waiting for one essential item. Our East Midlands reporter, Will Hollis, has more for us.
Good things come to those who wait, and in Leicestershire, some specialities can't be missed from the Christmas list. Pork pies made Melton into a British food capital. At Christmas, it comes second only to turkey.
The people of Melton Mowbray in Leicestershire normally have pork pie for breakfast on Christmas Day. That's a tradition, a long-held tradition that they like to stick to, so that's what the vast majority of our customers come for. A lot of people come in from the Leicestershire area to buy the pork pie for Christmas breakfast.
With queues out the door, shelves always need fresh stock. People travel from miles away to get their traditional pie.
So I've come from West Bridgeford in Nottingham, so we've come to get one of the handmade pork pies. It's one of our Christmas traditions, so ever since I was little, we'd start every Christmas morning with a pork pie and a glass of Bucks Fizz.
We've come from Retford in Nottinghamshire to buy a Melton Mowbray pork pie, or two, for Christmas. And hopefully they'll make it home and not get eaten in the car on the way back.
With the government's talk about Omicron and the fact there might be another lockdown, that's made people want to spend more money, I think, so they're buying more than they normally would. So rather than 2 pies, they're buying 4.
It's busy here, but quieter than usual in the rest of town. Omicron and the Prime Minister's advice to limit contact with others is stopping some shopping, but there are plenty braving the streets.
I just need last-minute bits and pieces, and this doesn't seem terribly busy, and I'm quite happy.
It's quite quiet in Melton, so I'd rather be here than in a bigger city centre. So, yeah, more than happy.
I'm very confident, to be quite honest. People are wearing masks in the shops, and people are sensible.
Just having a browse, getting some fresh air, if that's possible. But with Omicron, we've got to be safe.
Kim runs a gift shop at the heart of town. Government grants have helped her stay open during the pandemic.
There's obviously some concerns about the new variant, if it's going to affect them socially. But for trading, it seems to have been quite good.
Keeping shops clean has become a priority for businesses that want to keep customers during COVID, but it's something that tattoo parlours were doing long before the pandemic. Here, they limit the number of people that can come in for a tattoo at one time, but they say they don't get many that are Christmas themed.
So the fact that we have to keep it a one-person shot at a time does change our time and our ability, but there's not that much of a difference. There really isn't. It's a business that's pretty consistent.
Brits are expected to spend £25 billion on Christmas this year. Spending should rise after a Christmas cash crash in 2020, according to statistics on Finder. In recent decades, the move towards online shopping has made it harder for smaller towns like Melton at Christmas, and this year, Omicron has added to that. However, an encouragement to shop locally and on the high street when you can is helping businesses this Christmas. Some Christmas traditions in Melton had to be cancelled, but overall, business is doing better than expected.
Footfall this last few weeks has really gone up, so we are seeing that people are shopping locally and getting in the Christmas spirit. People are going, people come from Retford and Sheffield today just to buy the turkeys and pork pies. The pork pie shop, we've seen, been really busy, and people are shopping locally, which is great.
COVID is often accompanied by fear, but Christmas brings hope. Melton, like many places, is bruised but not broken. Will Hollis reporting for GB News in the East Midlands.
There we are, news from the home of the pork pie. Love a pork pie.
Yes, I love a pork pie.
I really like that weird jelly stuff in it. What is that?
Yeah, I actually quite do
I
as well.
like it.
Nobody knows, I don't think.
No one knows what it is.
I've just been told it's gelatin, which, all right, OK, we don't need to be too literal about the whole thing, all right? We all know what it is. Anyway, here's what else is going on today. So, the Queen's annual Christmas message is expected to be a particularly personal one this year because, of course, it is the Queen's first Christmas since the death of her husband, Prince Philip. And although no Christmas Day public appearances are expected from her, she is said to be in good form, according to Buckingham Palace aides, and the traditional Christmas message will address the nation and the Commonwealth, reflecting on the past year, and it's going to be screened at 3 p.m. tomorrow.
The Business Secretary, Kwasi Kwarteng, is said to be drawing up a rescue package to protect millions of households from surging energy prices. Demands are growing for a VAT cut to household bills as the Business Secretary is seeking to protect consumers from an increase in prices of up to £700 when the energy price cap is updated in April. Experts are warning that this increase risks plunging an additional 1.5 million households into fuel poverty if no action is taken.
Yes, and motorists are set to face the most expensive Christmas getaway on record as the prices at the pumps remain high. The wholesale cost of petrol and diesel have fallen in recent weeks, but fuel retailers are said to be taking blatant advantage of people driving home for the holidays. According to the RAC figures, retailers are on average making 16 pence per litre of unleaded fuel compared with the typical average of 6 pence for diesel. The situation is broadly similar, a worrying picture on what is set to be the busiest Christmas Eve on the road since 2015.
Now, a packed show for you all this morning. We're going to be monitoring our motorways as the AA says it is expecting the Christmas rush to be back at pre-pandemic levels, with 17.8 million cars on the road today. Our Yorkshire and Humber reporter Kevin Larkin is keeping an eye on the roads for us.
Yes, and later, within the hour, we'll be going through all of today's top stories, making the headlines with our A-list panel. And at 7:15 a.m, of course, we're going to find out if we should expect a snowy Christmas. What do you reckon? I don't think so.
I don't think it's been on the front of every single newspaper, so I'm going to go with no.
It'd mug Greta off, wouldn't it, to be fair?
Look at that.
Imagine if you had a white Christmas, Greta would have to do one. But anyway, there we go. We'll be asking a meteorologist from the Met Office if we can build our festive snowman. All that and more to come on the Great British Christmas Breakfast.
Meanwhile, chocolate, trees and presents are just some of the things we're familiar with at Christmas. What are you familiar with?
Yeah.
What about bell ringing? Do you know what? I'm familiar with bell ringing.
It's a bit early for that.
I used to be a bell ringer.
OK, all right, good stuff. Yes, fine. I just normally have some smoked salmon for breakfast, and that's it for me.
Don't go ringing a bell.
Don't go bell ringing
No
on
shame.
Christmas, no.
Yeah, well, it's a skill which has lasted since the 17th century, and it's an important job on Christmas Day.
Yes, our North West of England reporter Bradley Harris went to Carlisle Cathedral to find out more.
A sound recognised by many on Christmas Day. At Carlisle Cathedral, up to 12 bells can ring at any one time. Behind the scenes, a well-trained team of bell ringers are on hand to create the perfect rhythm.
It was my first time ringing on a Sunday morning, so it was very nerve-wracking. Really enjoyable though, really enjoyed it, and it's sort of a culmination of my early training so far, so I've got a lot more practicing to do. A lot more people attend services at Christmas, and a lot more people sort of interact with the bells and listen to them and appreciate them. So it's just the tradition overall is what it means to me.
Once you've climbed 117 steps, you come here to the ringing room. People from all over the country come to ring the bells of Carlisle Cathedral. Bells which have been ringing since 1999.
In the UK, bells have traditionally been associated with Christmas for thousands of years, but groups began pulling bells on a rope around the 17th century. So how easy is it?
I started in 1999. The early stages I likened to like when you're learning to drive a car, when you have to change gear and signal and look and turn the steering wheel, all these different things you have to do all at the same time. And it's the same with bell ringing at the beginning, and eventually it just becomes automatic, some of those things, and you can just do them together, and it's like after COVID, we had a long gap during COVID, and when we couldn't actually ring the bells, and some people, when they came back, found it really hard to actually physically ring the bells again. But I think a lot of us who'd been ringing for longer, it was the muscle memory was there, and so we slipped back into it much more quickly.
It's not just at Christmas when the bells start ringing. The team practice every Friday and have pulled on some very special occasions.
Well, in recent times, of course, the Battle of Britain service, and then, of course, Remembrance Day, which is always very important. There's also a great tradition here that we ring for the birthday of Dean Rushdell, who originally gave some money for the restoration of the bells in 1925. And it is a condition of his will that we ring each year on his birthday, which we still continue to do. And of course, apart from Christmas, we have New Year coming, and we shall be ringing the bells for the New Year, we hope. So yes, there's plenty of ringing to be done.
Next time you hear the bells ring out, spare a thought for those at the end of the ropes. A joy to many who pull them, but even more for those who listen. Bradley Harris, Carlisle, GB News.
Nice package there, I thought.
Yeah, really nice package. And bell ringing, it's not easy, you know. You have these complex patterns you've got to follow. And, well, no, it's not easy. The weirdest thing is when you pull a bell, you have to wait a while. There's a delay before you hear the bong. So getting your timing.
Terry's bang on. Terry says there's nothing quite like a Melton Mowbray pie with a sweet pickled onion and tangy pickle, and that's in relation, of course, to Will Hollis, our fantastic Midlands reporter, who was talking. We went to Melton Mowbray, didn't he? The home of the pork pie. So fantastic stuff. Yeah, good stuff.
Terry's a very big fan of pork pies.
He is indeed, as am I. Well, anyway. So anyway, coming up, Patrick. Well, me, sorry. Me and I will indeed have a rap battle. Yes, that's right. You heard it. A rap battle, ladies and gentlemen, but not the most conventional sense. But anyway, what else have we got?
Right, yeah, this Christmas Eve, hundreds of street friends will be welcomed into Newcastle Central Station for a festive lunch run by the charity North East Homelessness.
Yeah, so the team is about to start preparing food at their base in North Shields, and our North East of England reporter Rachel Sweeney will be there later this morning for us, and she tells us she'll be peeling vegetables as well, apparently. But for now, let's take a look at the service that supports thousands of homeless people across the North East region.
In the heart of North Shields is a trendy community hub. It's a welcoming space for anyone. There are shelves of food for the hungry, warm clothes for the cold, and the lonely always have a friend. Dignity is important to the team here. They have a till where no money is taken, so children can experience doing a weekly shop. Nobody is turned away. Everybody is treated with respect.
I've always wanted to do some sort of helping people that haven't got anything. I grew up with just my mum. My mum brought the three up. My dad died when I was 9. And I've always experienced like the poverty side of things. And then you find out later on in life that your mum was missing meals so you could eat, and this type of thing. And so it's always been there. But then I passed a young lad in Newcastle, and it was raining, and he had no coat and everything, and I got talking to him, and as he walked away, I seen the bottom of his shoe, and it didn't have a sole on his shoe, and I was like, this isn't good enough. It's like, how can we be in a country like England that's like this?
And so North East Homeless began. NEH relies on donations, and they have a fair few celebrity supporters, including Geordie musician Sam Fender, who often pops in to play the piano. A team of 11 helps thousands of street friends through their centre and their outreach work.
So people that work here have had some sort of crisis, I guess. Like Earl, who works for us, so he was 25 years on and off street homeless, multiple addictions. When he worked over here, it's like, I give him the keys, it's just like, I've got to go, can you lock up? And then I found out later he was crying in the corner because no one had trusted him with that type level of trust.
14 years old, I ran away from South Shields. I've been in every care home in South Tyneside, to the point of I ended up hitchhiking up and down the country until I reached Bristol at 18 when my son was born, the BRI. And then I woke up one morning and she ran away with my son. And that day, my friend introduced me to what I know now is heroin. I never knew what it was at the time, so I became, for 19 years after that, a heroin crack cocaine addict, 20 years an alcoholic, 20 years a methadone user. And now I'm over 5 years clean, 4 years dry and 3 years off the methadone, and got my first ever job in my life with North East Homeless. And my first ever council property, I've got a lovely bungalow over Cleedon Hills.
Earl has even started hosting poetry evenings, encouraging others to be open about addiction.
And I'm proud to say I am now 5.5 years clean, 4.5 years dry, 3.5 years off the methadone.
One life drastically changed by North East Homeless.
Yes, fantastic stuff, and well done, Earl, as well. That was, of course, our North East reporter, Rachel Sweeney. They say you're only ever 2 missed paychecks away from being homeless. I suppose it depends what kind of money you're on, but that's where we are. We're all very close, apparently, to actually, potentially being out.
Yeah, and I suppose the pandemic would have probably had a huge impact.
I think it's,
that
it's all very well. Obviously, we want to keep it light and everything, but it's important to remember, I think, at this time of year, there are people in desperate need as well. So if we can do something, then maybe we should.
Well, Rachel's peeling vegetables. What are you doing?
I'll give a tenner to someone later, I suppose. Anyway, right, coming up, we will be having a rap battle. That's right. Yes, you heard it, a rap battle. And I will definitely be beating you, that's for sure.
No. There's this thing, I think it's inbuilt that women can wrap presents neatly, tidily, efficiently, and men just sort of go...
Yeah, but if you get a good enough present, it doesn't really matter how you dress it up.
Have you seen what we're wrapping?
No idea. No idea. But first, ladies and gents, time for the weather.
It's time to remind ourselves there's always another winter. Canary Islands sponsors the weather.
Hi there, welcome to the latest forecast. It looks likely that we'll see further hill snow across northern parts of Scotland through this morning. Foggy further south, and then blustery rain turns up later from the southwest because of this active weather front. You can see the extent of mild air across the UK at the moment, but still some cold conditions in the north, and that's led to falling and settling snow over the higher ground of Scotland overnight. Northern Scotland still subject to a weather warning because of the likelihood of disruption over some of the higher routes, I think, from that snowfall. Elsewhere, a lot of low cloud, fairly damp in the north, some hill fog and some low-lying fog through central areas during the morning and early part of the afternoon, before this weather front sends a band of rain and gusty winds in by the afternoon from the southwest. Mild in the southwest, colder further north, fairly bright in the far north of Scotland, albeit with a few wintry showers. And then we watch as this weather front brings some rain to the Midlands, South East England, East Anglia, and eventually it stalls across Northern Ireland, North Wales, Northern England, into the Midlands and parts of Norfolk and Suffolk by the morning of Christmas Day. Either side of that, quite a contrast in conditions. Mild but blustery in the far southwest, colder and frosty as we begin things on Christmas Day in the far north. This is the place to be if you like crisp winter sunshine for Christmas Day. Plenty of that for northern and western Scotland. And some brighter skies for southern Scotland at times as well. Mild and blustery with showers in the southwest. And in between an awful lot of cloud, and that cloud covering hills, as well as bringing some light outbreaks of rain and perhaps hill snow to the Pennines. Possibility of Snowdonia and southern Scotland as well. Boxing Day is similar, with showers in the south and plenty of mild air here, colder and brighter further north, and in between areas of rain and hill snow. Bye-bye.
Canary Islands sponsors the weather.
You're watching GB News live across the UK and the world on our digital stream.
GB News is Britain's news channel.
We are the UK's home of discussion and debate from all perspectives.
We are here for you. Don't forget to join our YouTube community by clicking on that subscribe button.
And if you want the GB News app, you can click and catch up on programmes anytime.
We love to hear from you, so email us.
gbviews@gbnews.uk.
Thanks for being part of the GB News family.
My name is Andrew Doyle. Join me every Sunday evening at 7 p.m. for Free Speech Nation. This is a show where we address current affairs and news stories of the week with the help of two wonderful comedian panellists. I brought in comics because I want to give it a lighter edge, and also they work for less. See you there.
Join my show Farage, 7 p.m. till 8 p.m. Monday through Thursday, and there you will get opinion, analysis, debate, and I'll cover stories that nobody else dares to touch. And then for the last 15 minutes, talking pints. We're over a drink. We have a civilised conversation with someone. We very often disagree, but we do it in a grown-up way. Come and join me on Farage.
I'm Colin Brazier. I've reported from more than 70 countries around the world, covered wars from Afghanistan to Iraq, from Lebanon to the Balkans. I'm trying to bring that experience, that feel for events, to the studio. And something else. I'm ready to give an opinion. Today's stories with a spark. Brazier from 8 p.m. weekdays on GB News.
Join us for Political Correction. We're here every Sunday to correct politics and put you, the people, back in charge.
We talk about all areas of the United Kingdom, including Northern Ireland.
Our debate goes way beyond the Westminster Village. It's about the real country. It's about your opinion. So please, we want you to tell us what you think.
This is Political Correction.
Every Sunday morning from 10 a.m. here on GB News.
You're watching GB News live across the UK, the world, and our digital stream.
GB News is Britain's news channel.
We are the UK's home of discussion and debate from all perspectives.
We're here for you. Don't forget to join our community by hitting the subscribe button.
And download the GB News app so you can click and catch up on programmes anytime.
We love to hear from you. Email us at gbviews@gbnews.uk.
Thanks for being part of the GB News family.
Welcome back and good morning. Now, Father Christmas is going to be very busy tonight, of course, delivering presents to children all over the world.
Yes, indeed. Well, our South East reporter, Ellie Costello, caught up with him, actually, in the run-up to Christmas in Essex, believe it or not.
Yeah.
As he delivered presents to children living in temporary accommodation in Basildon.
Christmas is operation led by head elf George.
It's for the kids, you know, we want to spread a bit of joy, particularly this year where we've had obviously the coronavirus. This is just spreading that joy that we need at Christmas. And a lot of people this year in particular who are self-isolating in their homes have got the chance to see Santa, you know, they've not got the chance to go into the shopping malls and see them, but they can from their house.
Hello. In the local. You look very warm. Loving the red.
It's a lovely town. It's full of very nice people, a real good mixture, and there's some families that are really struggling at this time of year. You know, we've had a very difficult time with COVID and everything else, and you know, the community here pulls together very well, and there's some wonderful people who like to raise money, and they get my help to come and do that, and then we try to give out some presents as well, just to make everybody's Christmas that bit more special.
This festive tradition reminds us all that giving is what Christmas is all about. Ellie Costello, GB News.
Have you ever donned the big old nylon beard and the jacket?
No, I've not. I probably couldn't be trusted for it, I think. But I do, yeah. I mean, it's a nice thing to do, though, isn't it? And it's good to obviously help them.
How old were you when you found out the Father Christmas?
Whoa! Was coming round to my house every single year. Of course I was.
How old were you when you found out
that he likes a glass of sherry?
A glass of sherry.
Oh, absolutely. Yes, he likes a glass of sherry very much. Yes. Carrots for Rudolph as well. Anyway, right, so it's that time in the show now where me and Alex go head-to-head in the ultimate rap battle, don't we?
Yeah, we're not talking Busta Rhymes, although I do know how to freestyle one. I do.
Don't.
We're talking festive times. You see?
I see what you did. Yeah, okay.
That's right. Yeah, we're going to battle it out to see who can create the most jaw-dropping, gift-wrapping masterpiece.
I think we're probably over-egging it here a bit, but let's remind you of some of the days of the stories first, are we? Is that what we're doing? Yes, apparently it is. So, yeah, or are we rapping now? I don't know. What should we do? Should we rap?
Oh, we're
rapping now, apparently.
Rapping.
Right, okay,
we need like some sort of heavy
we've been
beat.
given...
I'm getting on with things.
Well, we've been... Hang on a second. What are the rules? You've already... So Alex has started cheating. You already set it up. So we've been given these novelty houses.
We don't know what they are. It's got a light inside.
It's got a light inside it, right?
It's got difficult, complex surfaces, you know.
It's a tough one. It's a 7 out of 10 difficulty. And what we did was, whilst you know, we were watching Santa there deliver packages to needy kids, what Alex started doing was cheating. So she's rolled out her wrapping paper already.
I find the end of my cellophane.
I'm yet to unsheathe mine.
Oh, I'm getting on.
Okay, all right. So
too much.
I don't know about how you are at home, but I'm absolutely terrible at rapping. It will come as absolutely no surprise to you that I'm not really a rapper, not much of a rapper. I actually can't even get this paper open. And yeah, so sometimes what I will do is either pay a woman in boots to do it for me, or I will. There we go. Have a bit of that. You can have some of that as well. This is it. This is... Oh, no, I've not done enough here. OK.
You would be amazing.
I don't know who does the rapping in your house. OK, no, it's fine. You know what? Hey, you know what?
Disgusting.
Beggars can be choosers. You've got to give them a little. You've got to give them a little bit of something to keep them interested.
Do that second layer.
Well, I'll put a double layer on. It's like the equivalent of double masking, isn't it? This. So okay, all right.
That's an extra protection for your present. Can I just say, this is the picture of tidiness.
This is exactly. It will come as no shock to everyone that this is exactly how I wrap all of my presents. So, so there we go. But I do buy presents. I'm actually. Do you prefer getting presents or receiving presents, Alex?
That's the same thing, right?
Getting presents. Oh, yeah, getting or giving. Getting or giving, that's right.
Well, because my birthday is Boxing Day, I make ridiculous demands on having major presents because I have to wait for a whole year otherwise.
Oh, and you see, the thing with it being Boxing Day as well is you don't quite have the time to get stuff in the Boxing Day sales. So my birthday is the 15th of January, right? So it's perfect time because it's not close enough to Christmas Day to warrant getting the double present, you know, the dreaded happy Christmas and birthday present. No, don't get any of that, so they have to get me. They have to get me two, right? And they can get the second one in the Boxing Day sales, in the January sales. So actually, really, and I'm an only child as well, so to be honest with you, I don't know I'm born, really. I've had a great life, really. Right, OK, so where's my salad? Have you done it? No, you're not done it yet?
I'm taking my
I've got to be honest with you, I could have done this
right.
ages ago. It's almost like a fundamental lack of care, isn't it, really?
My roof's poking out, and I'm not happy about that.
Well, there we go. Yes, OK, all right, I've really messed this up. Oh, no, it's because it's unfolding. So this is honestly sometimes what my actual gifts to my parents look like.
I've got a rip. Oh,
but
God.
there
I'm
we
going
go.
on Patrick.
There we go. Here you see.
Bit.
I've got a feeling I'll win this. I'm just, you know what? I think I've cracked this. Here we go.
Don't do this at home,
ladies and gentlemen. And that's a present. That's a present. There we are.
I wouldn't want to be your girlfriend on Valentine's Day. Check that out.
Neither does she, actually. Right, OK, so there we go. Present, gift. Happy Christmas. Nothing screams. Nothing
Well,
screams.
do you know what?
Nothing screams Christmas quite like.
Getting a bit annoyed
like
with this
my
now.
best effort.
So whoever chose this house to wrap is a sadist.
Yours actually looks quite nice.
But I'm just going to disguise that sort of bit under there. But I'm going to, stand it
Do you
upright.
stand out to you as the worst present you've ever received? Have you ever received like a shocker? Or do you have a relative that always used to get you bad ones?
I think, growing up, it was a sort of £1 coin stuck on the inside of the card.
Yeah, just don't get me anything.
That never sort of appreciated as interest rates continued to grow and cost of living went up. It stayed £1.
You were...
As my needs evolved.
You were an interesting child, weren't you? Thank you very much, Auntie Joan, for the £1 coin.
It was actually my Auntie Joan.
No.
That's a little bit Christmas psychic.
It says that our producer also had an Auntie Joan. Well, there we go.
No!
To be honest with you, mate, I don't think it matters. I don't think it matters.
It's the roof.
You can vote in this now, ladies and gentlemen. Email in gbviews@gbnews.uk. Who has wrapped the best present? And I think we all know that it's me, don't we? There we go. I think that's fine. I think that's okay.
Merry Christmas, darling.
Merry Christmas.
Oh,
thank you very much. Okay. Oh, I wonder what it is.
What is it?
Oh, it's a house. Don't you just hate it when you get each other the same thing?
I love it. Patrick, thank you.
Well, there you go. Well, look, I do hope that all of you have got your Christmas shopping done and that you got it all wrapped, and certainly better than mine, that's for sure. But yes, fingers crossed.
Yeah, and don't be like Patrick this Christmas. That was
just in any
dreadful
way. In any way, shape,
That's
advice you can live by. Don't be like Patrick. Yes. Well, anyway, moving on.
Someone who isn't like Patrick is the Queen. And she is set to deliver a personal Christmas message tomorrow.
Yes, she is. It'll be the Queen's first Christmas, obviously, sadly, without her husband, Prince Philip. So no Christmas Day public appearances are expected from her, but she is said to be in good spirits. That's according to Buckingham Palace.
And she looks striking in the red. Love that.
I just love the Queen.
I love her.
Just love the
Queen.
So much. I know it seems a bit on brand and all that, but I actually genuinely just love the Queen. Stoicism, dignity.
Middle name Alexandra.
There you go.
Yeah.
And what's not
all
to like?
All these
second middle name Patrick, actually. So two can play that game. It did make me laugh. It did make me laugh though once. I think it was a few years ago, wasn't it, when she did that Christmas speech with a gold piano band. People were like, oh, gosh.
Gold piano?
She had a gold-plated piano band.
Does she?
And people were like, oh, gosh, look at all the privilege. Like, she's the Queen. She lives in a palace. She's not going to have, like, an IKEA sofa and live, laugh, love on the wall,
is she? Not going to have a Yamaha 22 plug it into the wall.
Femi's digital keyboard. No, it's not going to happen, is it? You know, of course, she's the Queen. So, yes, exactly. Yeah. She should have a gold-plated
She's probably gifted it by someone. She gets a lot of gifts, you know, from, like, characters.
It's quite nice work being the Queen, if you can get it, I imagine. But yes, anyway.
Keep trying, Patrick. I'm sure Buckingham Palace are watching and about to sign you up. Now, the business secretary, Kwasi Kwarteng, is said to be drawing up a rescue package to protect millions of households from surging energy prices.
Yeah, so demands are growing for a VAT cut to household bills as consumers face a price increase of up to £700 when the energy price cap is updated in April. I mean, basically, we're all getting poorer, aren't we? That's essentially what's happening, isn't it? Bills are going up.
Invest in Christmas jumpers, I say.
Invest in... I actually need to buy one later for tomorrow, but yes, yeah. Because we will be doing Christmas morning, won't we?
We are doing Christmas morning.
Yes.
And Alexmas the day after.
Oh, yes, absolutely. Indeed. Well, motorists are also set to face the most expensive Christmas getaway on record as the prices at the pumps remain high.
Yeah, the wholesale cost of petrol and diesel have fallen in recent weeks, but according to figures from the RAC, fuel retailers are said to be taking blatant advantage of people driving home for the holidays.
Yes, as indeed are people who work on trains at the moment as well, striking. I think that's bang out of order. Have you seen that? So people are striking now, and I just think it's absolutely astonishing.
They always time it, don't they?
Well, it's a job that can be done by a robot, I'll say it. But anyway, coming up, we will be reviewing today's headlines, of course, with two very special guests, Joe Phillips and Andre Walker. But that will be after the break.
You're watching GB News live across the UK and the world on our digital stream.
GB News is Britain's news channel.
We are the UK's home of discussion and debate from all perspectives.
We are here for you. Don't forget to join our YouTube community by clicking on that subscribe button.
And if you want the GB News app, you can click and catch up on programmes anytime.
We love to hear from you, so email us.
gbviews@gbnews.uk.
Thanks for being part of the GB News family.
My name is Andrew Doyle. Join me every Sunday evening at 7 p.m. for Free Speech Nation. This is a show where we address current affairs and news stories of the week with the help of two wonderful comedian panellists. I brought in comics because I want to give it a lighter edge, and also they work for less. See you there.
Join my show Farage, 7 p.m. till 8 p.m. Monday through Thursday, and there you will get opinion, analysis, debate, and I'll cover stories that nobody else dares to touch. And then for the last 15 minutes, talking pints. We're over a drink. We have a civilised conversation with someone. We very often disagree, but we do it in a grown-up way. Come and join me on Farage.
I'm Colin Brazier. I've reported from more than 70 countries around the world, covered wars from Afghanistan to Iraq, from Lebanon to the Balkans. I'm trying to bring that experience, that feel for events, to the studio. And something else. I'm ready to give an opinion. Today's stories with a spark. Brazier from 8 p.m. weekdays on GB News.
Good morning. On Christmas Eve now, it's time to peruse the news.
Yes, like it a lot. Yes, so there's some hope, apparently, on today's front pages. So should we take a look at them, I think? The Telegraph is reporting government sources say that COVID restrictions on New Year's Eve are increasingly unlikely, which is good news.
Hurrah! Now the Mail says the Royals, they're leading on the front page of the Mail. Plans for the Queen's Christmas message as well as the Sussex's Christmas card.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, we couldn't move without the Sussex Christmas.
I needed it. I've been waiting all year for that.
Thank you very much, Megan. Anyway, and that same story about the Queen's Christmas message also leading on the Express. And if we whiz over to the Times, what's it saying?
Reporting that protection against the Omicron variant from booster shots starts to wane within 3 months. So there you are.
Yeah, I mean, who'd have thunk it? It's almost like we're banging this cycle of endless vaccinations.
It's almost like Pfizer are running the world.
I'm going to look like a darts board at the end of this, and by the end of this, I mean until I die.
A voodoo doll.
Yeah, exactly. Anyway, The Guardian has a warning from doctors, classic, who are urging Britons to keep their Christmas celebrations small. I imagine that does
Do you think The Guardian ever has, like, happy, positive, upbeat, optimistic, Britain-loving, joyful stuff?
Not that I've seen. Not that I've seen, no. But maybe one day someone else will edit it and they will have that. But anyway, official UK data also indicates that Omicron is a milder form of COVID than Delta. And that is, of course, in the eye this morning, which is good, in a way, something we all knew.
And the sophisticated person's choice, the Daily Star, says experts are urging NASA to help astronauts have more sex in space.
Can I just say that the best way to do that is recruit better-looking astronauts? Because have you ever seen when they go up to space, you just think, gosh, you know, they look like Bill Gates, don't they?
I reckon it'd be quite interesting floating around.
Right, good stuff. So, family show. And to talk through today's stories at 6:38 in the morning, we're joined by former political advisor Joe Phillips and political commentator Andre Walker. Fantastic stuff. Thank you, both of you, for making your way into the studio.
Look, it's Christmas Eve, so I've got a brew, not the papers.
No, right, OK.
Well, don't worry, I've memorised the front pages.
But we like that. This is impressive. Well,
fine.
We can put
it's almost like you had one job, Andre, isn't it? And,
so from your fictional, imaginary, invisible paper, what's your pick?
Look, pretty much, that's the important bit. Every front page, or pretty much every front page, has talked about the Queen's Christmas message. I do have to say, I'm a bit annoyed, slightly, with Meghan and Harry. You know, they've obviously tried to upstage the Queen, but this was an important year for her in terms of the Christmas message. It's her most important message of the year, and of course it's the first one without the Duke of Edinburgh. And so apparently we're told that there's going to be a little bit of personality put into it. Remember, the Queen, when she first started her reign, was very, very, I wouldn't say stale, but very staid in the way that she would deal with people.
Stoic.
She was very young, Andre.
Yeah,
I mean, you know,
I don't think
and
it's...
she didn't expect to be Queen.
Yeah, I don't think it's so much the age thing. I think it's much more to do with the change in culture that's gone on over the years. But apparently this year, wait for it, she's going to wear a brooch that she once wore with the Duke of Edinburgh. That is...
Her brooches all tell a story, don't they?
Apparently. But that's what they all say, don't they?
Yeah.
So this is it's not one of your, paste jobs. It's a real one, a real big one, that apparently she wore on her honeymoon photo shoot. And interestingly, one of the papers has picked up on the fact that it's swapped from left to right, which is apparently what widows quite often do with wedding rings. They take them off to there. But I mean, Andre's right. You know, the Queen's message, it's become more important actually over the last couple of years. And I think when she spoke to the nation in the beginning of the pandemic, people who have perhaps been slightly ambivalent about the royal family have seen, against the backdrop of this dithering bunch that call themselves a government, somebody who's actually behaved with great dignity and grace. I'm surprised that you thought it was surprising that Meghan tried to upstage.
No, I didn't think it was surprising. Look, you and I have worked together only once before. But I thought, just based on what you've said, you know, in reality, that we will meet again. That was the performance of her career, wasn't it?
Yeah. It was, and it was very, very emotional, I thought, as well. It really kind of meant a lot, and she summed it up. And I think it's that kind of, it epitomised the kind of dignity and class, really.
But can I ask a question to you two? Because obviously we all watch the Queen's Christmas message, potentially because we're journalists. Do you think it's going to have a bigger set of viewers this year? I actually think it is. I think it's going to be the biggest ever.
I quite like the fact that William and Kate have really rolled their sleeves up to go. It's almost head-to-head against the Duke and Duchess of Montecito.
Yes.
We're going to quit the royal family and become the King and Queen of America instead.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
I know, they are sort of... It's like a
I love the way the Daily Star
of...
never show their faces, and it's like, couple show picture of child.
Yeah, exactly. But it was interesting, because I think on the back of that card, I think I'm right in saying, they said, we've donated to charity on your behalf. Now, it did remind me about when my mum went through this phase of getting people a goat for an African family, or some bees, right? And you can see like the look of this, because we have no way of proving whether or not this family in Uganda had received a goat, right? But then get us something like a nice bottle of Moet.
But Jane Goodall, you know, the famous scientist and anthropologist, zoologist, she said the other day, do not give people goats for Christmas, because actually it causes huge problems.
It was a nightmare for me. What are you going to do?
I didn't realise
I curried it, actually.
A pandemic of goat-giving happening.
People should not turn off this broadcast. When they do, they should watch the Ricky Gervais thing about sending a goat
I
to
don't
Africa.
know. I was watching outside and thought, this is Blue Peter on speed, isn't it? When you two are watching out this.
In a way.
I've got a good joke. It just happened in my head. Do you know why we shouldn't give goats at Christmas?
Oh, why?
Because we don't want to end up living in a nanny state.
Oh,
no. I'm informed this morning. That's my third cup of tea, people.
I love the Ricky Gervais comment where he said, not only have I lost out on my Christmas present, but I've exported a goat to Africa. It doesn't want to move there. It was quite happy in Devon.
Yes, exactly. Well, what else have we got on the papers then?
Well, Omicron.
Right.
But I think the general consensus is that, you know, we're not out of the woods, but as some of the papers have described it, it's a bit like the shipping forecast. We've downgraded from a hurricane to a strong gale. And I think that's probably a fair thing. You know, we absolutely aren't out of the woods, and there will be quite a lot of people who are in hospital and not very well. But it does look like there's a glimmer of hope.
So the statistic being quoted is that the variant Omicron is 70% less dangerous than Delta. Now, no, I don't know exactly how you work all this out, but I think there's now general consensus that the longer...
cold.
The longer... No, my favourite was, there's a local paper in Nottingham. I don't want to slag off people from Nottingham, but there was a local paper that said there's a new variant that might come out in Nottingham that has no symptoms whatsoever. People are worried. Well, it might be.
No, exactly.
That's the day to day.
And the reason they were suggesting that we'd be worried about this because we wouldn't know we'd have it. None of us would know, and that would be dangerous.
Marvellous.
You know, I love the fact that it's 70% less dangerous, but they skipped a few letters in the alphabet to make sure the name was like 70% more dangerous.
And it did crack me up, because Sky News had an entire...
Well, that cracks you up generally.
an entire section on how do you pronounce Omicron, right?
Omicron.
And they got a load of scientists, a load of virologists. At no point did they just get a Greek person in to go, it's Omicron. That's how you pronounce it.
No, but do you know what drives me mad when people say COVID? That really bothers me.
That makes me laugh about that. I love the fact you've got the fact that you're a bit Greek.
Yes.
There's very few occasions when being Greek is handy. Actually... it's handy.
Near a barbecue.
Kebabs making,
variants of COVID.
By the way,
they are.
We're both allowed to say this because we're both half Greek.
We are indeed. So, I mean, fundamentally, this does appear to be decent news, and presumably would maybe put paid to any further restrictions in January, do we think?
I think it probably will put paid to any restrictions over New Year. The earliest the government's going to say anything is the 28th, next Monday. It does look as though, you know, maybe they've got away with it. Obviously, hospital admissions will be the key thing, and hospital and medical waiting lists. I mean, what I would hate to happen out of the good news is for Boris Johnson to take any credit for this.
Right. Okay.
Because he hasn't been running the vaccine programme. He hasn't developed the vaccine. And
he's been hosting quizzes, though.
He's been hosting quizzes and parties.
Important.
And I think there will be many people who this Christmas will be being very careful still, for the right reasons, to protect their family.
And can I dovetail onto that? Sorry,
No, well, let me. You can dovetail, but let me just finish the sentence.
I thought you meant...
It's like Christmas Day round at my house. It starts off with a nice little soft bicker and ends up in a fight. So
right.
you carry on.
Wait until 8:30. Blimey.
Damn right.
Go on, Gemma.
No, but just, you know, I do think, yes, there is good news, but there will be people who can't see their loved ones. And we should all remember when Boris is going, it's marvellous, it's boosterism, it's fabulous. Actually, what were you doing when we were all having last Christmas?
And it's worth remembering, actually, that there are going to be restrictions coming back on Boxing Day in Scotland, in Wales, Northern Ireland.
Yeah, really strict in
do
Scotland.
you know what really upsets me about this? And Boris Johnson and people in Downing Street have said, oh, well, it's a technicality. So I don't know the exact details, but whether it's we can all meet up for a business meeting and serve mince pies and wine and whatever, but because it's a business meeting, it doesn't qualify as a Christmas party. You know, I'm one of the people, and I don't mean to go on about this every time I'm on GB News, but I think it's important. I'm one of the people that wasn't able to visit a dying relative during the lockdown. And lots of people, and I think the Daily Mirror, and I don't always support the Daily Mirror, were absolutely right to compare and contrast the Christmas party not a Christmas party, business meeting with wine. And I actually think it's more egregious that they found a way of worming out of it.
I mean, whatever happened to being grown up and saying, OK, you know, hands up, we were caught out. I mean, why are we bothering to have a hugely laborious investigation? If anybody had got any gumption...
They love an inquiry, don't they?
Yes,
well, it delays it, doesn't it? That's the point.
Wouldn't it be a really good idea if anybody who was at the party that didn't happen because it was only a business meeting said, yeah, I was there, there were 25 of us, we had a couple of drinks and that was it.
But I genuinely think the bigger issue is, and we talk about this all the time and get accused of being anti-vaxxers, right-wing commentators, whatever it is, the people making the rules didn't believe the rules.
No, exactly.
Now, that's fine for them because they can, you know...
It's been a trend from the beginning, hasn't it?
Without
with
doubt.
Professor Neil Ferguson, with old Mitty Hancock.
Dominic Cummings.
Dominic Cummings, I mean, but mind you, saying that, you know, everyone now knows if you think your vision's going a bit weird, you just go look for a castle.
Go for a long
Find a castle.
Not just
have a good stare.
My favourite thing that somebody said to me, a journalist said, the amazing thing about Dominic Cummings is the nearest person who was friends with him was in the North East. Willing to look after his child. That's damning.
But, it goes back to the Queen again, to sort of do it in a rather lovely circular way, that she's actually cut back on her Christmas.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know, we've all seen the images of her at Prince Philip's funeral on her own, whilst Boris Johnson and his mates were not only having parties or business meetings or whatever, it was the sniggering of Allegra Stratton that really did.
And actually, I've just remembered that now you've said it. What a lonely and pathetic figure she sat on her own. And actually, she was complying with the law made by people who were having a Christmas party at the same time, effectively.
No, it's true.
It is true, it is true. What else is going on then on the front page?
Well, on the front pages, it's Omicron and the Queen. I do like
Fair enough.
I do like the Daily Star, because you know that the one on that, they've got Beam Me Up Totty, which I thought was rather good.
Absolutely. Have they bothered
How do they come up with these?
Well, I don't know.
Because they live in a parallel universe.
And also why? I want to know why this
Am I allowed to say this? We were talking about the front page, but I've just got to say this. It's from the Times, where they says, the Times being the Times, cruises and ski breaks off as borders close for Britons. So the number one political issue right now for the Times is cruises and ski breaks.
Oh, what are we doing?
A disaster.
Everything about the Times, especially at the weekend, just reminds me I'm not rich. It's like, here's properties you'll never be able to buy.
Can I just
here's
tell you
clothes you can't
not
afford.
in today's papers, it was in papers the other day, that presents that are badly wrapped, you'll be pleased by it. No. The recipient is always much more delighted because it's what's inside. And ones that are too perfect look as though they've been shop bought or not done by a real person.
No, I'm sorry.
So there
I'm
you
sorry.
are.
I'm sorry. Let me tell you.
I like that. Thank you very much.
There's no shop wrapping.
I'll say that.
It looks like that when you presented that thing to me. It looked like it had been wrapped by a dog.
Yeah, well, in a way, I had it, I suppose. But
well, to be fair, let me give you the front page of the Telegraph, because much as I pretended, I did get the front pages.
It's done a bit of
the front
research.
page of the Telegraph is New Year's Eve likely to escape new curbs, and what they're saying is. They're saying that the UK Health Security Agency, which is not the full UK, quite right, has said that basically because of lower hospitalisations than what were predicted. Now, by the way, it's always lower than what's predicted. Actually, we may be able to enjoy New Year's Eve. Now, I don't know about what happens to you, but you know, I go to local restaurants, friends of mine own or whatever. In reality, everybody's cancelled anyway because they've just given up on that. So I actually think the damage to hospitality business has been done anyway.
And didn't Sadiq Khan cancel the London fireworks?
Yeah, he did.
Well, it was the Trafalgar Square.
Yeah.
But I mean, you know, there is a point. I was supposed to have a party, not on the Trafalgar Square scale, obviously. But you know, I just cancelled it last week because people were so.
Yes.
You know, and I think so many people have been waiting to get to this week. They're going to see relatives that they perhaps didn't see last year, and they didn't want to risk it.
But we are getting Big Ben, aren't we?
Apparently.
The bell is back.
It looks incredible. Have you seen it?
No, I haven't been down that way
It
for a
doesn't
while.
look real because, of course, it's now been sandblasted and cleaned and painted.
Oh, it'll probably
and it's
look
been
like
returned to the
cardboard.
original colour. Sorry, why do I know all this? Right?
Yeah, exactly. Well, that's good, though. It's a big institution, isn't it?
Yeah.
Andre, we've missed out. We should have been doing this from Big Ben.
Well, indeed.
Well, there's still time, actually.
Singing Miley Cyrus style.
Shouldn't have said it.
Come on, love, let's climb Big Ben. Come on.
No, definitely. But I think it's an important issue, though, isn't it, with what's happening on New Year and the kind of cancellations? Because I don't know whether or not people might be more tolerant of cancelling New Year as long as that we have total freedom in January. Whereas if we kind of cancel both, or if there's some restrictions in January, and this is talking about someone here who's booked a holiday for the 8th of Jan, so I'm
good luck with that.
I'm in the danger zone now. But I don't know, what do you think about the potential for January restriction?
I think it will depend very much on what happens with hospitalisations and the strain on the NHS. I think the biggest problem at the moment that we now understand that Omicron is less deadly, probably. That seems to be the general consensus. It's terribly transmissible. So there is a point that actually, because it's so transmissible, the only way to stop it spreading is to have a complete lockdown and everybody stay home, which is completely impossible. So you might as well just keep going, encourage the booster programme, encourage the vaccination, and try and get back to some sort of normality, because the last thing the economy needs and the last thing that kids need is another year of stop-start education, business. I mean, as you said, hospitality.
Especially if the data keeps continuing to show that it's essentially a cold. I mean, there was a headline yesterday, actually, in the Eye that did just say it's very difficult to tell the difference between Omicron and a common cold without a test.
Well, it's harder if you live in Nottingham, apparently.
Exactly.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to getting my special Nottingham strain. Joe, Andre, thank you so much.
Thank you. Yes. Well, staying with presents, Santa is going to be finalising his naughty and nice list before heading out on his sleigh shortly.
Yeah, and we are asking you this morning, who would you nominate? Now, we were discussing this when we went on there. We've only come up with naughty people. We've sat there for ages going, anyone nice? Anyone nice?
Yes, who's had a good year? That was the issue, wasn't it? Really?
So naughty, who's on our naughty list?
Oh gosh, well, I mean, there's a few people, aren't there? I mean, I think initially I put Xi Jinping on my naughty list.
It's very naughty. He's been a bad boy.
He's a very naughty boy.
Naughty Xi.
There he is. Look at him. Yes,
Xi.
the pingdemic. Fantastic. Yes, I mean Xi Jinping, of course, off of coronavirus.
Did you know that he has
And
banned
genocide.
the internet from having any images of Winnie the Pooh in China because people think he looks like him?
I mean, it's just bonkers, isn't it? But I mean,
Now, someone else is often on my naughty list is that little mini Napoleon across the Channel, across La Manche, our very favourite Emmanuel Omicron.
Emmanuel Omicron,
There he is, old schmoozing away.
Yes.
Yeah, of course, he has been causing problems, threatening to cut off power to Jersey, moaning about a few bits of fish, wanting to close borders to the UK every 5 seconds, and we're generally stomping around the world with a little bit too much French attitude.
Yes, I think short man syndrome is possibly the way I would maybe describe it. I think there, but yes, no, I mean he's almost like he's got an election coming up, isn't it?
Oh
really?
yeah, I know. That's getting spicy, isn't it?
That is getting spicy. Are we doing any nice people now? We're just doing naughties. Well, I think we've got... I'll tell you what, actually, someone who I thought was I was going to say very nice this year. That sounds a bit weird. But someone who's had a great year was Emma Raducanu.
No, she's nice. We like her.
We like her. I mean, what's not to like? Sports
we love
personality of the year, US Open winner. And also, I must say...
No one had heard of her, and then boom, she's winning everything.
She's winning, yeah, but also as well, you know, when she was at Wimbledon, bless her, she obviously played a few of the games of her life, and then, you know, look, she was a bit unwell, or things got to her, whatever, perfectly understandable stuff. And then she came out and fronted up to it. The next day or the day after, she was wearing an England football shirt. Yeah. And she was there. And then it cracked me up as well when people were, like, going on Twitter about, like, this, you know, this daughter of immigrants. It's like she was there wearing an England shirt.
Oh, I know,
she's about as English as she can possibly get. But anyway, there we go.
Brennan, she's great.
Yes.
Anyway, your suggestions, please, keep them coming in. And coming up in the next hour, how to get through Christmas if your family or your co-presenter is a nightmare.
It's time to remind ourselves there's always another winter. Canary Islands sponsors the weather.
Hi there, welcome to the latest forecast. It looks likely that we'll see further hill snow across northern parts of Scotland through this morning. Foggy further south, and then blustery rain turns up later from the southwest because of this active weather front. You can see the extent of mild air across the UK at the moment, but still some cold conditions in the north, and that's led to falling and settling snow over the higher ground of Scotland overnight. Northern Scotland still subject to a weather warning because of the likelihood of disruption over some of the higher routes, I think, from that snowfall. Elsewhere, a lot of low cloud, fairly damp in the north, some hill fog and some low-lying fog through central areas during the morning and early part of the afternoon, before this weather front sends a band of rain and gusty winds in by the afternoon from the southwest. Mild in the southwest, colder further north, fairly bright in the far north of Scotland, albeit with a few wintry showers. And then we watch as this weather front brings some rain to the Midlands, South East England, East Anglia, and eventually it stalls across Northern Ireland, North Wales, Northern England, into the Midlands and parts of Norfolk and Suffolk by the morning of Christmas Day. Either side of that, quite a contrast in conditions, mild but blustery in the far southwest, colder and frosty as we begin things on Christmas Day in the far north. This is the place to be if you like crisp winter sunshine for Christmas Day. Plenty of that for northern and western Scotland, and some brighter skies for southern Scotland at times as well. Mild and blustery with showers in the southwest, and in between an awful lot of cloud, and that cloud covering hills, as well as bringing some light outbreaks of rain and perhaps hill snow to the Pennines. Possibility of Snowdonia and southern Scotland as well. Boxing Day is similar, with showers in the south and plenty of mild air here, colder and brighter further north, and in between areas of rain and hill snow. Bye-bye.
Canary Islands sponsors the weather.
You're watching GB News live across the UK and the world on our digital stream.
GB News is Britain's news channel.
We are the UK's home of discussion and debate from all perspectives.
We are here for you. Don't forget to join our YouTube community by clicking on that subscribe button.
And if you want the GB News app, you can click and catch up on programmes anytime.
We love to hear from you, so email us.
gbviews@gbnews.uk.
Thanks for being part of the GB News family.
My name is Andrew Doyle. Join me every Sunday evening at 7 p.m. for Free Speech Nation. This is a show where we address current affairs and news stories of the week with the help of two wonderful comedian panellists. I brought in comics because I want to give it a lighter edge, and also they work for less. See you there.
Join my show Farage, 7 p.m. till 8 p.m. Monday through Thursday, and there you will get opinion, analysis, debate, and I'll cover stories that nobody else dares to touch. And then for the last 15 minutes, talking pints. We're over a drink. We have a civilised conversation with someone. We very often disagree, but we do it in a grown-up way. Come and join me on Farage.
I'm Colin Brazier. I've reported from more than 70 countries around the world, covered wars from Afghanistan to Iraq, from Lebanon to the Balkans. I'm trying to bring that experience, that feel for events, to the studio. And something else, I'm ready to give an opinion. Today's stories with a spark. Brazier from 8 p.m. weekdays on GB News.
Good morning, it's Christmas Eve, and of course there's no better way to wake up than with a great British breakfast.
Absolutely, yes. Well, we've got a packed show for you this morning, so coming up, hope for a New Year's Eve, as the Telegraph reports that the Prime Minister will give only strong advice to limit indoor mixing next week, stopping short of proposing new rules as the booster rollout continues.
Yeah, and it's Christmas Eve and the big Christmas getaway is on. Millions of you will be heading around the country to meet up with family and friends, many making up for lost time.
Yes, much deserved as well, ladies and gents, I think. Hope you have a good time. So, how to survive Christmas with your family. That's right, an etiquette expert will share her tips.
And we're going to have round two of our ultimate rap battle. Look at your
come off, we're not doing it again, are we?
It's a tip. I've tied it all away. We are doing it again.
Why?
We've got to put a bit more effort in this time because that was just disgusting.
We're doing it every hour, apparently.
Oh, it's quality television.
Oh, well, I'll tell you what. Yeah, OK.
Yeah, I'll be going head-to-head with Patrick again to see who can create something that looks like a Christmas gift mask, something that doesn't
Well, it'll be
look like
you,
it's
obviously, because I can't.
Stuck together by.
Yeah, it might look like I kind of presented you with the Frankenstein of Christmas gifts. Not really, but there we go. Well, we're doing that again later this hour, so you look forward to that, ladies and gents. And this morning, of course, we want to know who you think should make Santa's naughty and nice list this Christmas. Talk to us, GB Views at gbnews.uk. Loads of you emailing in. Thank you very much. We'll go to those shortly. And, of course, on Twitter as well, at GB News.
Now, people in England will be able to get their COVID booster jabs on Christmas Day and Boxing Day as the NHS ramp up efforts to tackle Omicron.
Yes, if you've got nothing else on. Anyway, the Prime Minister, Boris Johnson, has used his Christmas message to urge people to get a booster vaccine, calling it a wonderful gift.
For millions of families up and down the country, I hope and believe that this Christmas is and will be significantly better than the last in this vital respect. That we can celebrate together with those we love and raise our glasses to those who can't be with us. And though the time for buying presents is theoretically running out, there is still a wonderful thing you can give your family and the whole country. And that...
Now, it comes as an official report confirms that the Omicron variant is milder than Delta. As if we didn't know that from South Africa.
Yes.
So further restrictions now look less likely and New Year's Eve may be saved after all.
Yes, bit of good news, but The Times is reporting this morning that some people may need a fourth jab to remain protected. So, yes, it's interesting, actually. They were saying that after about 10 weeks or so, they think the efficacy of the jab wanes.
So that'll be 10 minutes next.
So it's just like, yeah, look, have you had your 5 jabs for the day, have you? Jamie Oliver turns up and makes sure you get 5 jabs a day. I've never forgiven him for ruining school dinners. I like to turkey twizzler, Jamie, anyway. In the last 24 hours, 119,789 people have tested positive for COVID, which is the highest level since the pandemic began.
And with those case numbers being so high, will as many people be travelling across the country to see friends and family this year?
Although Yorkshire and Humber reporter Kevin Larkin is keeping an eye on the traffic on the M1 near Rotherham for us now, I believe. There he is.
Oh, you get to all the best places, Kev.
Yes, you've got... Goodness me. Can I just apologise for sending you out on Christmas Eve to the M1 in the pitch black at 7 o'clock in the morning? I didn't ask for this, Kevin. I'm very sorry. I hope you're being well paid. But anyway, there you go.
How are the roads looking there, Kev?
Yeah, they're moving all right. Merry Christmas to you. Yeah, you can just about see the cars moving around, so the early people are setting off. So the AA is expecting the Christmas rush to be back to the pre-pandemic levels with 17.8 million cars on the road today. That's 54% of all motorists. Now, they have a list of the worst motorways. They are expected to be the M25, the M5 near Bristol, the M6 near Birmingham, the M1 around Luton, as well as the M60, M62, M4 and M27. So that's pretty much most of them, isn't it? But some good news is that National Highways says that almost 98% of roadworks will be removed from the motorways and A roads to help ease that Christmas congestion.
Yeah, good stuff, Gavin. So, are we expecting any differences, from the pre-pandemic Christmas Eve rush or anything? What's going on?
Well, it's the first, as you say, Patrick, proper post-pandemic Christmas holiday rush, with many obviously unable to travel long distances last year due to that pandemic. National Highways say they're not expecting traffic levels to be higher than normal overall, but the AA says due to more people working from home since COVID, they're expecting the rush to be more spread out across the day, with less of an evening rush, but they're advising people to check before they set off.
Look, thank you, mate, honestly.
You're on the nice list.
You're very much on our nice list. I think, Kevin Larkin, well done, mate. Bless you for going out to the M1 at this time in the morning for
It's what everyone dreams of on Christmas Eve, a little early morning jaunt to the M1 to lurk.
Hi, Kevin, can you go and watch cars for us, please, mate? Yeah, fine.
You almost cried with laughter when he turned around and looked at the traffic.
Bless him. Well done. That's proper stuff. Kevin Larkin, ladies and gentlemen, what a hero. Anyway, moving on now. So that surge in Omicron cases is keeping shoppers away from the high streets, apparently, if not the M1 at least. In Melton Mowbray, the home of the pork pie, queues in the town are much shorter, apparently, than before the pandemic, unless, of course, you're waiting for one essential item.
Yeah, our East Midlands reporter, Will Hollis, has more.
Good things come to those who wait, and in Leicestershire, some specialities can't be missed from the Christmas list. Pork pies made Melton into a British food capital. At Christmas, it comes second only to turkey.
The people of Melton Mowbray in Leicestershire normally have pork pie for breakfast on Christmas Day. That's a tradition, a long-held tradition that they like to stick to. So that's what the vast majority of our customers come for. A lot of people come in from the Leicestershire area to buy the pork pie for Christmas breakfast.
With queues out the door, shelves always need fresh stock. People travel from miles away to get their traditional pie.
So I've come from West Bridgeford in Nottingham, so we've come to get one of the handmade pork pies. It's one of our Christmas traditions, so ever since I was little, we'd start every Christmas morning with a pork pie and a glass of Bucks Fizz.
We've come from Retford in Nottinghamshire to buy Melton Mowbray pork pie, or two, for Christmas. And hopefully they'll make it home and not get eaten in the car on the way back.
With the government's talk about Omicron and the fact there might be another lockdown, that's made people want to spend more money, I think, so they're buying more than they normally would. So rather than 2 pies, they're buying 4.
It's busy here, but quieter than usual in the rest of town. Omicron and the Prime Minister's advice to limit contact with others is stopping some shopping, but there are plenty braving the streets.
I just need last-minute bits and pieces, and this doesn't seem terribly busy, and I'm quite happy.
It's quite quiet in Melton, so I'd rather be here than in a bigger city centre. So, yeah, more than happy.
I'm very confident, to be quite honest. People are wearing masks in the shops, and people are sensible.
Just having a browse, getting some fresh air, if that's possible. But with Omicron, we've got to be safe.
Kim runs a gift shop at the heart of town. Government grants have helped her stay open during the pandemic.
There's obviously some concerns about the new variant, if it's going to affect them socially, but for trading it seems to have been quite good.
Keeping shops clean has become a priority for businesses that want to keep customers during COVID, but it's something that tattoo parlours were doing long before the pandemic. Here, they limit the number of people that can come in for a tattoo at one time, but they say they don't get many that are Christmas themed.
So the fact that we have to keep it a one-person shot at a time does change our time and our ability, but there's not that much of a difference. There really isn't. It's a business that's pretty consistent.
Brits are expected to spend £25 billion on Christmas this year. Spending should rise after a Christmas cash crash in 2020, according to statistics on Finder.
In recent decades, the move towards online shopping has made it harder for smaller towns like Melton at Christmas, and this year, Omicron has added to that. However, an encouragement to shop locally and on the high street when you can is helping businesses this Christmas.
Some Christmas traditions in Melton had to be cancelled, but overall, business is doing better than expected.
Footfall this last few weeks has really gone up, so we are seeing that people are shopping locally and getting in the Christmas spirit. People are going, people come from Retford and Sheffield today just to buy the turkeys and pork pies. The pork pie shop we've seen been really busy, and people are shopping locally, which is great.
COVID is often accompanied by fear, but Christmas brings hope. Melton, like many places, is bruised but not broken. Will Hollis reporting for GB News in the East Midlands.
Will Hollis there, reporting from the home of pork pies. Anyway, here's what else is going on today. So the Queen's annual Christmas message is expected to be particularly personal this year. Of course, it's the first year since the death, sadly, of her husband, Prince Philip. And although no Christmas Day public appearances are going to be made, she is said to be in good form, and that's according to the Buckingham Palace aides.
Yeah, the traditional Christmas message will address the nation and the Commonwealth, reflecting on the past year, and be screened at 3 p.m. tomorrow.
Yes, don't miss it. Anyway, the Business Secretary, Kwasi Kwarteng, is also said to be drawing up a rescue package to protect millions of households from surging energy prices. Demands are growing for a VAT cut to household bills as the Business Secretary is seeking to protect consumers from an increase in prices of up to £700 when the energy price cap is updated in April.
Yeah, experts are warning that this increase risks plunging an additional 1.5 million households into fuel poverty if no action is taken.
Yes, and motorists are set to face the most expensive Christmas getaway on record as the prices of remain high. The wholesale cost of petrol and diesel have fallen in recent weeks, but fuel retailers are said to be taking blatant advantage of people driving home for the holidays.
Yeah, according to the RAC's figures, retailers on average making 16 pence per litre on unleaded fuel, compared with the typical average of 6 pence. And for diesel, the situation is broadly similar, a worrying picture on what is set to be the busiest Christmas Eve on the roads since 2015.
Yes, absolutely. I can't help but feel like they are taking the mick a bit with this
they
petrol
are.
stuff, aren't they? I mean,
It's cynical.
Yeah, every time. I'll never forget as well when Tony Blair, classic, was like, buy diesel. And then it's like, OK, if you buy diesel now, you might as well just slit a polar bear's throat every day because it's terrible. And it's like, well, hang on a minute, what was it, Tony? What was it? And then now I've got to pay about 50 quid a day just to drive into London if I want to.
Talking about driving, a little email's come in which has made me smile from Jill, who is saying, is Kevin Larkin really stood on a bridge over the M1 in Rotherham? It was hard to say because it's pretty dark, but Jill thinks it looks like the bridge near her, which is the junction 24 on the M6.
We need to get to the bottom of this, OK? There's a Kevin Larkin-based conspiracy here.
Where is Kevin? He says he's on the M1. We think Jill thinks he's on the M6.
Jill's called him out. Jill says that she thinks that Kevin is actually really on junction 24 on the M6.
Well, I know. He's got a lot to answer to.
It's a cracking junction, that, though, to be fair.
If
I had to be anywhere, I'd be...
Is that your junction of choice?
Yeah, it is my junction of choice,
Nice little slip road off that.
Nice slip road off it, easy access, in, out, absolutely, very few roadworks, and it's good, yeah, it's fantastic, better than the toll. Anyway,
oh, yeah, no one likes that.
Isn't Christmas just the best? Great food, drinks, presents, and lots of time with the family.
The GB News family.
The GB News family.
Lots of time with Patrick.
And thank you very much, actually. I've got a lot of people. Donnie's been in touch. You're a legend, Donnie. So, wishing all the GB News a blessed and peaceful Christmas and every success in the new year. You've been a breath of fresh air. Thank you very much. And Alison is putting all of GB News on the nice list. So, thank you. I appreciate that.
Everyone but Andrew Neil. But he's not with us anymore.
Yeah, she did actually say that.
He's
in the email
naughty.
as well. Yes, he's now crucially irrelevant.
Now, getting back to what we were talking about, since you took a little segue, took the slip road off the motorway. Now, what in your family is your worst nightmare? Is it the gifts that they're getting you? Are they awful? Jingle bells or jingle hell? Lovely scripting that.
Nice. Good stuff, someone.
Here to navigate us through the ups and downs and festive puns, no doubt, is etiquette expert Isabel Kershaw, who's founder and director of the London Finishing Academy. Isabel, is there certain etiquette built around Christmas Day when you pull the crackers, who unwraps their gifts first, how you feign that look of delight when you get Minions socks from your nan?
Yes. What's the etiquette?
What is the etiquette? I think the etiquette... Hello, good morning, and it's lovely to be with you this morning. I believe the etiquette, first of all, is to make sure you follow the rules of the hostess or the host that is giving you the wonderful turkey that you're going to eat along with the Christmas pud. And don't try and bring in your rules or the things that you used to do at Christmas.
Yes, well, absolutely. I mean, it's interesting, isn't it? Because I can remember as a child there was certainly no etiquette involved. I was up at about 5 o'clock in the morning,
As an adult,
waking my parents up to see what Santa had got me, of course. But no, there is definitely an element of etiquette to it. What's the best way then to react to gifts, do you think?
I think the thing is to not have on your face. I think you build yourself up to say thank you, whatever the gift is. I'm one where I'm not good at somebody spending money on me and I don't want the gift. But, just say thank you very much. You shouldn't have. And just move on.
You really shouldn't have. Yeah.
Right. Very, very important question. Now, British people know that there are only 2 times that it's acceptable to get drunk before lunch. And that is at an airport when you're going on hollybobs and Christmas Day, right?
Absolutely.
So how acceptably drunk can you get on Christmas Day?
I think the test is how you feel the next day. Little top tip, every time you drink 1 glass of wine or champagne, have 1 glass of water. That really does help. And line your stomach. That does help. But don't get to a point where you do feel out of control.
No, absolutely, of course not. No, and there should also, of course, be plenty of stomach lining, as it were, because Christmas dinner is a major centrepiece of Christmas Day. I mean, again, there when you're at the table, I suppose. I mean, it tends to be a bit of a free for all round at my place, but I imagine that there is a certain way of doing it. Should you always wait until the host has served themselves first, or something like that? Is that the etiquette?
Well, the host should tell you. You always get guided by what the host is doing. And if they say do start, you can start because you don't want the dinner to get cold. But if they haven't said that, you all have to wait until the host has sat down. It's always the guidelines of the host. If you want to know about anything, just wait for the host to tell you what to do.
Is it acceptable when you really hate Brussels sprouts? Because to be fair, they do taste a bit like bile. To take your fork,
Brussels sprout,
mash them down into your gravy.
Well, that's certainly as long as there's gravy, I'm back on board. But I'm from the north, so yes, absolutely. But can I ask what Christmas Day looks like round at your house? I imagine it's picture perfect.
Well, that's very kind. My sister's doing it this year. And so we do start off with stockings. There is that sort of when do we open presents? But I think presents should be opened after lunch just to see how disciplined people are. And I always think that, a lot of us have forgotten about the real sense of Christmas and going to church. But I believe going to church is like having your first session of yoga. It really sets you up for the day and gets you in the right mood. And so I would probably, go and look at it on the TV and just set yourself up for the day and just appreciate the fact that we can all be together, that we haven't got COVID and that we can actually see people live and appreciate that.
Absolutely, I couldn't agree more. Do you watch the Queen's speech?
I do sometimes, I have to say. I will do this year. I got a little bit complacent in previous years of watching it. I'm probably doing the washing up by that point. But yes,
well, someone should do the washing up. Someone should do the washing up for you. Surely it's Christmas Day after all. But look, thank you very much. Thank you very much for making the time for us. I hope you have a really, really happy Christmas and that you and your family will have a fantastic time. Yes, absolutely. Yes, definitely so. So thank you very much for making the time to join us here. How to survive Christmas. Do you ever have like rows on Christmas Day? Because that's quite a common thing with people.
Like a national sport, isn't it?
Is it? Yeah. Yeah. My family's all right when it comes to that. So I think I'm quite lucky.
Why do you think I'm here and not?
Ooh. Sorry about that one then, a bit close to home. Anyway, or actually quite far away from home, as it turns out. But anyway, after the break, it's round 2 of our... Oh, grief, we're doing it again.
Are we doing the houses again? Are we getting
We're not doing the same thing, are we?
We've got to get something new. Oh, good, we get a new shape.
Maybe we should just rap me. Anyway, right, so it's round 2 of our rap battle. That's right, yes, indeed. So if you've left tarting your Christmas gifts up until the last minute, wow, we'll have some tips for you, apparently.
Yeah, just watch Patrick go savage with the cellar to... I think there's just like a flurry of teeth and nails and grunting, and all of a sudden this
panicked quite a lot.
Strange, screwed up mess.
Yeah, well, I've asked you not to call me that. Anyway, right, OK, we've got all of that coming up. But first, ladies and gentlemen, it's the weather. Will it be snowing? No.
It's time to remind ourselves there's always another winter. Canary Islands sponsors the weather.
Hi there, welcome to the latest forecast. It looks likely that we'll see further hill snow across northern parts of Scotland through this morning. Foggy further south, and then blustery rain turns up later from the southwest because of this active weather front. You can see the extent of mild air across the UK at the moment, but still some cold conditions in the north, and that's led to falling and settling snow over the higher ground of Scotland overnight. Northern Scotland still subject to a weather warning because of the likelihood of disruption over some of the higher routes, I think, from that snowfall. Elsewhere, a lot of low cloud, fairly damp in the north, some hill fog and some low-lying fog through central areas during the morning and early part of the afternoon, before this weather front sends a band of rain and gusty winds in by the afternoon from the southwest. Mild in the southwest, colder further north, fairly bright in the far north of Scotland, albeit with a few wintry showers. And then we watch as this weather front brings some rain to the Midlands, South East England, East Anglia, and eventually it stalls across Northern Ireland, North Wales, Northern England, into the Midlands and parts of Norfolk and Suffolk by the morning of Christmas Day. Either side of that, quite a contrast in conditions, mild but blustery in the far southwest, colder and frosty as we begin things on Christmas Day in the far north. This is the place to be if you like crisp winter sunshine for Christmas Day. Plenty of that for northern and western Scotland, and some brighter skies for southern Scotland at times as well. Mild and blustery with showers in the southwest, and in between an awful lot of cloud, and that cloud covering hills, as well as bringing some light outbreaks of rain and perhaps hill snow to the Pennines. Possibility of Snowdonia and southern Scotland as well. Boxing Day is similar, with showers in the south and plenty of mild air here, colder and brighter further north, and in between areas of rain and hill snow. Bye-bye.
Canary Islands sponsors the weather.
You're watching GB News live across the UK and the world on our digital stream.
GB News is Britain's news channel.
We are the UK's home of discussion and debate from all perspectives.
We are here for you. Don't forget to join our YouTube community by clicking on that subscribe button.
And if you want the GB News app, you can click and catch up on programmes anytime.
We love to hear from you, so email us.
gbviews@gbnews.uk.
Thanks for being part of the GB News family.
My name is Andrew Doyle. Join me every Sunday evening at 7 p.m. for Free Speech Nation. This is a show where we address current affairs and news stories of the week with the help of two wonderful comedian panellists. I brought in comics because I want to give it a lighter edge, and also they work for less. See you there.
Join my show Farage, 7 p.m. till 8 p.m. Monday through Thursday, and there you will get opinion, analysis, debate, and I'll cover stories that nobody else dares to touch. And then for the last 15 minutes, talking pints. We're over a drink. We have a civilised conversation with someone. We very often disagree, but we do it in a grown-up way. Come and join me on Farage.
I'm Colin Brazier. I've reported from more than 70 countries around the world, covered wars from Afghanistan to Iraq, from Lebanon to the Balkans. I'm trying to bring that experience, that feel for events, to the studio. And something else. I'm ready to give an opinion. Today's stories with a spark. Brazier from 8 p.m. weekdays on GB News.
Join us for the Political Correction. We're here every Sunday to correct politics and put you, the people, back in charge.
We talk about all areas of the United Kingdom, including Northern Ireland.
Our debate goes way beyond the Westminster Village. It's about the real country. It's about your opinion. So please, we want you to tell us what you think.
This is the Political Correction.
Every Sunday morning from 10 a.m. here on GB News.
You're watching GB News live across the UK, the world and our digital stream.
GB News is Britain's news channel.
We are the UK's home of discussion and debate from all perspectives.
We're here for you. Don't forget to join our community by hitting the subscribe button.
And download the GB News app so you can click and catch up on programmes anytime.
We love to hear from you. Email us at gbviews@gbnews.uk.
Thanks for being part of the GB News family.
Now, are you dreaming of a white Christmas? Well, the man who can actually tell us whether or not it will be joins us now. You may recognise our particular friend here, Alex Deakin, meteorologist for the Met Office, off of the weather, indeed. So, are we going to have some snow?
I mean, you answered the question before the break, Patrick, didn't you? Simply,
right.
No, not very
much. Well, cheers for joining us, Alex. Nice to have you on board, mate. And, we'll see you next year. We'll see you next year. But my understanding is, if you put a bet on at the bookies, and I know this because I did it once, is that if you put a bet on in your particular area for it to be a white Christmas, technically you only have to have one snowflake, do you?
Yes, you do actually only have to. So it depends on your definition. Most people think white Christmas, deep and crisp and even. They want a foot of snow outside. But actually, all you need is for one flake to fall, and then you can say you've actually had a white Christmas. So that's any time between midnight and midnight. So you've got the whole 24 hours just to see one flake, and you can say you've had a white Christmas. Now, there is a tiny chance that a few places might get that. So we're talking Shetland, Aberdeenshire. There is a possibility of a few snow flurries overnight tonight into the morning. And there is a very small chance of parts of Lincolnshire down towards Norfolk of seeing just the odd flake on Christmas morning for about 5 minutes. But it is just a very small chance. So the vast majority not going to see one this year. Hills of northern England, again, may also see a little bit for a time on Christmas morning. But most of us are not going to see any. But all you need for a white Christmas officially is to see one flake of snow falling from the sky.
It's a perennial disappointment, though, isn't it? Who came up with this betting stuff? Because it never snows at Christmas. I mean, meteorologically, how likely is it to ever snow at Christmas during my lifetime?
Well, you'd be surprised to hear, actually, that most Christmases there is a white Christmas somewhere in the UK because of that definition I just talked about, that kind of broad definition. So most year, or more often than not, somewhere in the UK will see a flake of snow. A couple of years ago, when we had one of the warmest Christmas days on record, if not the warmest, with temperatures like 18 degrees across the south, it was still a white Christmas in northwest Scotland because late in the day a cold front came down and there was a bit of snow there. So actually, more often than not, somewhere in the UK does see one. But you are right, they are getting rarer, and particularly those snowy scenes where snow is lying on the ground, they are getting rarer and rarer. So 2010 was the last time we had widespread snow lying on the ground 11 years ago. The last time there was actually a widespread white Christmas where snow actually fell during the day was back in 2004. So, yeah, they are pretty rare. Who came up with it? Well, who benefits from people going to the bookmakers and spending lots of money and it not happening? I'll let you answer that one.
Yeah, absolutely. Can I ask you, I hope this isn't too out of order, I want to ask you a personal question. Did you always want to be a weather guru?
A guru? Wow, it's the first time I think I've ever been called a guru, but I'll take it. Did I always? I was kind of a bit of a late developer. A lot of my colleagues have always, kind of been obsessed with weather. I didn't get into it until my kind of late teens, early 20s, but that's been long enough. So yeah, I've had a passion for weather for quite a while. You do have to, it's a whole new science to learn and get involved. And every day is different. Every day is different. So every day there's something to learn. So it's absolutely a fascinating subject. So yeah, it's been a while.
Well, fantastic stuff. And I must say you're doing a very good job of it. And I hope I'm not embarrassing you. There's a couple of members of our production staff who happen to think you're a bit of a heartthrob, Alex. So well done. So well done, you. You're a weather pin-up, apparently. So
wow.
So keep it coming.
I'll take that.
Anyway,
thank you. Thank you,
thank you very much. Have a great Christmas, and hopefully it does snow somewhere. Someone rakes in the cash, but there we are. Yes, the weather guru.
The weather pin-up now is
The weather pin-up.
Yeah.
The weather don.
I'm banning you from having more coffee.
What? It's not my fault that they all fancy him. Right, OK, so now Santa Claus is going to be very busy tonight. Of course he is.
He is.
Delivering presents to children all over the world, isn't he?
Of course he is,
Yes.
I know.
Yes.
Our South East reporter, Ellie Costello, happened to catch up with him in the run-up to Christmas because, as per usual, this time of year, there's nothing he likes more than to bob on down to Essex as he delivered presents to children living in temporary accommodation in Basildon.
Christmas huge operation led by head elf George.
It's for the kids, you know, we want to spread a bit of joy, particularly this year where we've had obviously the coronavirus. This is just spreading that joy that we need at Christmas. And a lot of people this year in particular who are self-isolating in their homes have got the chance to see Santa. You know, they've not got the chance to go into the shopping malls and see them, but they can from their house.
Hello! You look very warm, loving the red.
It's a lovely town. It's full of very nice people, a real good mixture, and there's some families that are really struggling at this time of year. You know, we've had a very difficult time with COVID and everything else, and you know, the community here pulls together very well, and there's some wonderful people who like to raise money, and they get my help to come and do that, and then we try to give out some presents as well, just to make everybody's Christmas that bit more special.
This festive tradition reminds us all that giving is what Christmas is all about. Ellie Costello, GB News.
Heartwarming, isn't it, really?
It is, yeah.
Yeah, it's nice, isn't it? Always try to do your bit at Christmas, I suppose, is the message. Anyway, so it's that time again, isn't it, of the show where we go head-to-head, don't we? We go head-to-head in the ultimate rap battle.
Yeah, apparently they're only going to give us 30 seconds this time. Round 2 of the action. And hopefully no cheating for... Why does he no cheating for me? He's copying me now. My technique is like getting it all lined up.
Well, you've already made it go on your sellotape as well.
But, we are now, first of all, going to look how the professionals do it, and Patrick should take note, because his last attempt was pretty disgusting.
Yeah,
so
right.
Let's have a little look at the experts. Look at that.
I'm going to teach you how to rap a book.
Scary voice.
We start with measuring the paper and cutting it to size.
Lovely. Well, that was, I think, Darth Vader wrapping a present there. So, happy Christmas, kids, I think is the overbearing message.
I've got to clear the tears out of my eyes. All right.
So,
I'm ready.
So we're gonna wrap now. We've got what are the rules? Who wins?
30
Is the
seconds.
fastest
Are we
person
going?
to wrap it or what?
Has it started? Ready? Go.
1, 2, 3, go. Okay. No. Okay, all right. Happy Christmas, everyone! Hey! This is, yeah. Okay, all right. Well,
touch the cellophane?
No. Okay, well, so I think it's fair to say no one wants to receive a present from me. Again, you can vote. I actually won the last round, believe it or not.
Can we have the expert rapping again?
Can we actually play that again? I want to
again.
I want to revisit. I want to revisit Darth Vader raps kids' presents.
Come on.
Let's do it.
Yes, I'm going to teach you how to wrap a book. So first we start with measuring the paper and cutting it to size. Flip over your book, fold over your paper, tape it down.
Fantastic. Well, there we go. I think that just about explains how to wrap a present, doesn't it? If you didn't know, then now there's nothing more that you could possibly learn about wrapping presents than listening to Darth Vader and Mr. Blobby's Love Child do it live for us here. So anyway, moving away now. Coming up, we will be reviewing today's headlines with 2 very special guests, if they're still here, Joe Phillips and Andre Walker. That's in a bit.
You're watching GB News live across the UK and the world on our digital stream.
GB News is Britain's news channel.
We are the UK's home of discussion and debate from all perspectives.
We are here for you. Don't forget to join our YouTube community by clicking on that subscribe button.
And if you want the GB News app, you can click and catch up on programmes anytime.
We love to hear from you, so email us.
gbviews@gbnews.uk.
Thanks for being part of the GB News family.
My name is Andrew Doyle. Join me every Sunday evening at 7 p.m. for Free Speech Nation. This is a show where we address current affairs and news stories of the week with the help of two wonderful comedian panellists. I brought in comics because I want to give it a lighter edge, and also they work for less. See you there.
Join my show Farage, 7 p.m. till 8 p.m. Monday through Thursday, and there you will get opinion, analysis, debate, and I'll cover stories that nobody else dares to touch. And then for the last 15 minutes, talking pints. We're over a drink. We have a civilised conversation with someone. We very often disagree, but we do it in a grown-up way. Come and join me on Farage.
I'm Colin Brazier. I've reported from more than 70 countries around the world, covered wars from Afghanistan to Iraq, from Lebanon to the Balkans. I'm trying to bring that experience, that feel for events, to the studio. And something else. I'm ready to give an opinion. Today's stories with a spark. Brazier from 8 p.m. weekdays on GB News.
I'm going to have to present like this because this side of my eye makeup is like something from Kiss.
Yeah, I think you're all right. You're doing OK, don't worry. Obviously, lost it there at the idea that we had Darth Vader trying to teach us how to wrap a present earlier. I don't think I'll ever get over that. But anyway, lots of you have been getting in touch. Thank you very much. We've just had a chap get in touch called Paul, gbviews@gbnews.uk, who's in Bethlehem, actual Bethlehem. Actual Bethlehem. So thank you very much. Great to know that we've got an international audience.
I know, do you like that?
Lots of you getting in touch about my rapping skills, or lack of. Yes, me and my wife have loads to rap. We've left it to the last minute again. That's from Stuart. And, yeah, a lot of people just saying that they enjoy my rapping technique, which is shocking, really, isn't it?
It was beautiful. And we also, of course, are going to be talking about who's on the naughty list and who's on the nice list. What have people been saying on that front?
Oh, gosh.
On the nice list,
well,
right?
so we have had quite a few, actually. People want to put Lewis Hamilton on the naughty list, but yeah. So apparently that's the thing. People do not like Lewis Hamilton, as it turns out, even though he's obviously very good at his.
Isn't it Sir Lewis?
Sir Lewis now.
Sir Lewis yeah.
Hamilton, absolutely, yes. I don't know who's on your nice and naughty list.
Well, Mitty Hancock, obviously, he was very naughty. Naughty boy.
Very naughty boy.
Very naughty boy.
Very naughty boy. Yes, absolutely. There he is. Look at him. Fantastic stuff.
Naughty boy did naughty things.
Naughty boy did naughty things. I wonder how whatever hotel he's living in at the moment is doing. But I mean, that for me, the worst thing about that was because I was kind of presenting the news. Saying that quite loosely, really. Presenting the news on that particular day, and I had to therefore watch that video of him snogging what's the chops all day. And it was just by the end, once was enough. Once was the second time, you're like, did it really happen? The third time, your toes curl up, and then after that,
it was a bit sort of like,
yeah, it was. It was pretty bad from old Matty Hancock. Who else have we got? Allegra. Oh, Allegra Stratton. Yes. Okay.
Naughty.
So very naughty. Now, obviously, one of our esteemed newsreaders before was whizzing you through that particular one. But yes, it was the kind of the cynicism, could you say? I suppose, or is this obviously the fact
I feel a bit sorry for her, I must admit.
Well, it was when she said,
she wasn't the only person at the party. Apparently, she wasn't even at the party.
No, she wasn't. However, what I found concerning was that when she said during that video, "Is this being filmed?" You would hope that she would know whether or not what she was doing was being filmed in her line of work.
What are they filming it for?
Well, I don't know. Apparently they film it and they watch it back and they can improve in this, that and the other. But, I mean, in this case, they filmed it, watched it back and she got sacked. So, there we go. Meghan Markle's on the naughty list.
Always naughty.
Naughty list. Naughty. She had a big year, Meghan, hasn't she? Big year. Well, she spoke her truth, though, and that's important.
It's so important.
Yes.
Might have told a few fibs. But, do you know what I did love, though? I mean, Queen, obviously, is number one on the nice list. And my favourite royal puts-down ever, because the Queen is like, never complain, never explain. And the sassiness of some recollections may vary. It was the most British lying I've ever heard.
I think that was fantastic. I thought it was classy. And actually, talking of the Queen, of course, she's on the nice list, absolutely. Of course she is.
And of course, what would Christmas be without an alpaca?
Well, I mean, crucially, there is a Christmas without an alpaca.
So we lost
Geronimo is
Geronimo.
on
He was
our
nice.
nice list. Geronimo, turns out, was very nice, actually. And
I know, and he didn't even have TB.
Apparently so, yes, apparently so. Which, again, I think we all knew, because actually he'd have been dead years ago. He would have been the longest living alpaca with TB if he'd had TB.
Is that right?
Well, yeah, because they're normally dead within about a year and a half, and this guy's allegedly had it for about 7 years.
Didn't know you had, like, special sort of qualifications in veterinary science of ruminants.
Well, I just asked people at the time.
South American ruminants.
But there we go, and we've got David Perry. Oh yes, this is
David
a good
Perry's nice. We love him.
So you might not necessarily know that name off by heart, but David Perry, there he is.
Hero.
Is the chap who was the taxi driver in Liverpool. Do you remember that? Obviously, when that individual blew himself up in the back of his car, basically, who locked him in the back of the car outside Liverpool Women's Hospital, which is the largest maternity hospital in Europe, apparently. So can you imagine what could have happened if David hadn't been so quick thinking? And yes, saved countless lives and very nearly cost him his own. He amazingly got out of there, didn't he? With barely a scratch on him. I think he obviously had a couple of injuries, don't get me wrong, but fantastic. So actual proper hero. Well done.
Yeah, we love it.
We love to see it.
Time to now have a look inside today's papers, of course. And we're joined by journalist and former political advisor Jo Phillips, not related to me, but wish she was, and political commentator Andre Walker.
Well, I think we just want to make a point that when we heard you were doing a rap battle, we thought it was going to be kind of Eminem-style, Dr. Dre, sitting there, doing that.
We're a bit disappointed.
You loved the film 8 Mile. I thought it could have been in Japanese. I had no idea what we were talking about.
I do. My best mate Belinda and I have little freestyle rap battles quite often.
Come on, do a freestyle rap battle, I dare you.
You can't on your own. You can't have a battle on your own.
Exactly, that's true.
Oh, I don't know.
Thank you for saving me there, Jo.
Yeah, absolutely.
We love that.
I think the lawyers have been on and said that we're not legally allowed to do a rap battle ever.
That's the most disappointing piece
Can I
of
just
television.
ask, are you still wrapping up the same present?
No.
Okay.
No, if you'd been paying attention, Jo, you would have seen...
Some of us have been looking through the papers,
Well, no, I think actually there's something to be said for the fact that somebody has got their thing that... What's happened there, Jo? I mean, sorry...
Yes, no, there's on the floor, there's some absolute carnage. Shall we do the papers? Let's do the papers.
Wrapping paper to newspapers.
Let's do the undecorated papers. The printed papers.
Go on.
But it's all about the Queen and Omicron, really,
It's the Queen and Omicron, which is the pretty much the headlines on pretty much all of them, apart from the Daily Star. More of that later. But Omicron, I think the general consensus is, yes, there's a glimmer of hope. We now accept, or it's been confirmed that the effects of the variant of the virus are not as bad as Delta. Obviously, got to be still a bit careful. Still a question mark over what happens in January, whether there's going to be any further lockdown or anything. But I think the general consensus is it's OK. We're not out of the woods, but we can see a light. And, of course, lots of pictures of the Queen, preview for her speech tomorrow, in which she's going to pay tribute to Prince Philip. And there's always that sort of analysis of what's on the desk, what's she wearing. She's wearing a brooch that she wore on a honeymoon. So all of that sort of stuff is the main...
Am I allowed to dump down? Because I wanted to go to the cartoons on front page of the Telegraph.
Do it.
I mean, I think this one is absolutely sensational. I don't know if we've got it.
Yeah,
here.
we have.
We have? Yes.
Oh, there it is.
Oh, look at this.
Matt.
Look, I don't know whether I find this funny or find it depressing.
Go on.
It's actually people in the Somme saying the football match planned for the Christmas Day truce has been cancelled on health grounds. I have to say to you, I genuinely think that there are a lot of public sector workers who've been brilliant during the pandemic, and I think some of them are guilty of a dereliction of duty. You know, my mum and dad's local GP, 45, self-isolated, only came back to get the bonus for doing the Christmas flu jabs. So I don't know whether we find that funny or whether we find it depressing.
Jo, your views?
Well, I have a son who's a paramedic, and I can tell you he has not been derelict.
I said some, not all.
No, I know.
Yeah, no, that's fair, though.
But I do think, one of the problems facing the health service is the staff absences, and I think that, there's a big question about this period of isolation, which has been cut from 7 days to 5 days, which does make a difference. Maybe, after Christmas, depending how things go, it would come down to 48. Good. On the subject of cartoons, we have another couple here. We've got The Guardian, which is fabulous Steve Bell, and it's got a queue of ambulances. Do you see how I did that, you see?
Oh, just a professional.
And that's your son on the other side.
That's him up there, yeah.
Which one's you?
And this is the queue of ambulances waiting to get into an emergency department with Father Christmas. I think possibly Boris Johnson, because Steve Bell does tend to use these buttocks as his face, which is, if you look closely...
No, that is on the picture.
It is on the picture, I'm not making it up.
I think Father Christmas should be shielding. He looks like he's got pretty bad metabolic syndrome.
Well, something nasty.
He's been after the mince pies.
He's a big lad, isn't he?
With all these travel restrictions in place,
I think the little elf is supposed to be Sajid Javid, and the quote is, "This government will not hesitate to take no action."
Whoa.
Which I think tells...
It is generally pretty savage.
Well, on that, though, it does always amaze me, actually, when we get to these press conferences, etc., we were told, weren't we, we've got the worst death rate in Europe. We're the sick man of Europe. Gosh, this government is slaughtering people on an industrial scale. And then it turned out we were actually misquoting our COVID figures. It turns out you could never recover from COVID. So if you got COVID, you got better, and then you fell in front of a bus and died from that, you would be classed down for COVID. So then it all went very quiet. And then now, I can't cease to be amazed by the fact that whenever there's a press conference, why aren't you locking down? Why aren't you doing more? Why aren't you doing more?
Well, we've gone out as a country, and that includes us, because we are, it's our government, and basically said that Britain is a plague pit. No wonder countries right across the world are locking down or whatever. Remember what the Nigerian government said? It's health apartheid. Omicron, we decided to lock down against all these Southern African countries. We are obsessed. It's often said that British people are obsessed with sort of crime thrillers, Poirot, Miss Marple or whatever. I think it's become a new national sport to be obsessed with dying of this disease.
Well, I imagine that people in the tourist board weren't particularly happy with us.
No, I mean, I think the problem is that the government was so wrong-footed in the first place, and there is no doubt that we were far too late going into lockdown 18 months ago, and that would have saved lives. There was no planning, and governments have to plan, local governments have to plan for emergencies. They don't all have to be pandemic, and they don't have to be on the scale that this was, which of course caught everybody.
Well, we've forgotten. We have completely forgotten. People find this disparaging, but I refer to Chris Whitty as the Prime Minister. And the reason is because I believe the most important official of Her Majesty's government is now Chris Whitty. We're not interested in the economics of this. We're not interested in the mental health. We're not interested in the damage to the economy. We're interested solely in the medical arguments put forward by one man. Now, I'm not saying the guy doesn't know anything about medicine. Clearly he does. I'm not saying he's not a brilliant scientific advisor. Clearly he is. But where is the balance? And actually, where's the leadership? I don't think there is any.
There is no leadership from Boris Johnson, and he's been very happy to defer when it suits him to the scientists and to ignore them when it suits him as well.
That's the thing, isn't it? The government keep telling us we're following the science, as if there's an orthodoxy, as if there is one truth and one technique. I mean, these are unprecedented times, and scientists can't agree. We're learning every single day about this novel virus, and yet the government pass the buck all the time by saying we're following the science, as if it's divine intervention.
Alex, if you listen to yourself back, and we've all said exactly the same thing, just like you've said, when you say listen to the science, actually, what about listening to a balance between the science and the economics and the mental health?
Well, just a balance between all the science would be good. There are plenty of people who...
But I think we've become so obsessed with giving away democracy to scientific advisors. I hate this phrase that you hear all the time. This is too important for democracy. Leave it to the experts. What are you actually saying? You're saying that we are no longer interested in running our own affairs. We're just going to appoint a few officials.
I think the trouble is that it has become so polarising. I think in the beginning we were all absolutely petrified. Around the world. We didn't know what was coming. It was absolutely terrifying. It was coming at a breakneck. And, we were watching images of what was happening in Italy, knowing that it was coming here.
Absolutely.
And I think we should all remember how frightened we were. We also know that many, many people died. We know that health workers and other workers put themselves at extreme risk, and many of those became ill and died. The government has not used the time that it's bought from the fantastic vaccine rollout, which came through science, not through government. And actually it came through companies and scientists working together, collaborative. You could argue that actually what we should have done is have had a sort of a coalition government, like a wartime government.
We basically have, haven't we? Because it's not like Labour have been the opposition on any of this.
I mean, they've been... But they haven't been party to the same information.
May I offer a defence of Boris Johnson? Because I think there's a lot of people watching this who are going to say the following things. First of all, is he the only man in Whitehall that doesn't believe in perpetual lockdowns? From what I can see, he largely is. And secondly, If you look at the Labour Party, the Liberal Democrats, and even many of the Conservative Party, they would have stayed in the European Union. They would have delayed leaving on the grounds of joining the vaccine programme that the EU manifestly failed to deliver.
Oh, the EU behaved despicably in all of this. I think no one worse, frankly, than Emmanuel Macron trashing the AstraZeneca vaccine.
So the question is, how much worse would it have been with somebody else?
Well, this is the thing. When you look at going back to the situation in Europe, and thankfully we didn't join their vaccine rollout because it was an unmitigated disaster. We've now got a situation where we've got variants coming from South Africa. A huge amount of that is probably because most people in sub-Saharan Africa have not been vaccinated. Absolutely. And that's because they were getting the AstraZeneca jab. Then you had European leaders jump up and down, trash its reputation, cancel it for their own populations. Then people in Africa are naturally saying, well, if they're not having it, why do they think we're going to have it? And it's caused this huge problem. I think Macron's got blood on his hands.
I started looking at the statistics for vaccines, and there was a period, remember, when people completely wrongly said the MMR vaccine was dangerous and caused autism. Complete nonsense, by the way. And the vaccine level went down to 75%. It's now at about 89, 90%. And what struck me was this. If you make the case for the vaccine rather than making it mandatory, actually you will do well. But the point you make is very simply this, that when the European Union failed to roll out the vaccine due to their own incompetence, the first thing they did was lied about the science of the vaccine, and that has caused significant problems right across the world.
But Andre, just to go back to the MMR, what happened was when people believed that absolute nonsensical fake story, stopped having their kids vaccinated, and there were huge outbreaks of measles.
There were.
And measles can cause absolutely lasting damage, blindness, deafness, paralysis. It's a deadly disease.
Interesting, though, with that one, wasn't it? Because wasn't that one that Tony Blair famously refused to say whether or not he'd given it to his own children, and then now he's calling us all idiots if we don't have the coronavirus vaccine?
But you could make the choice, of course, that you could have them singly. It was the fact that it was a triple vaccine.
Yeah.
But so, wealthier people could pay.
Yes.
That's what was happening. They were going and having them all done separately as 3 separate vaccines. And I think that was what Tony Blair wouldn't answer.
One of the big problems you will always have with the vaccines when you immunise everybody, there will be a certain percentage, and by the way, just in case anybody clips this or whatever, I'm not saying the vaccine's dangerous. No. There will be a percentage of people who have the vaccine and die of a heart attack that night. Those two things are not related. But if you vaccinate sort of 50 million people in 1 year, then there will always be anomalies like that come up, and people will turn around and say, well, my cousin got the vaccine.
But, I think we have to remember that we have only eradicated one disease in the world, and that's smallpox. Everything else, whether it's Ebola, swine flu, coronavirus or COVID.
COVID.
Or anything else, actually, we managed to live with through a regime of prevention and protection. And if you think back to when HIV and AIDS first appeared on the scene in the 80s, it was a death sentence. It isn't now, mainly thanks to prevention, protection and drugs.
But there is an immorality, just a final point on the vaccine, there is an immorality here where we're continually revaccinating people in Britain. These variants are coming from unvaccinated people. I don't see why Granny should die in Pakistan so I can get my 15th vaccine to keep some lefty in Hampstead happy.
Yeah, no, you do think that they're saying that the boosters only have efficacy for potentially 10 weeks. After that, they begin to fade. You think, well, what is this? Are we going to be getting jabbed up every 3 months for the rest of our lives?
It'll probably get to be like flu, which changes every year. So we will have a vaccine every year. But the problem is, and this is where, Gordon Brown, the former Prime Minister, is always going on about why aren't we giving more vaccines to other countries? And unless we vaccinate everybody, none of us is safe. But the problem is getting people to take or to have the vaccine, and that's a big deal.
Without mandating it, which of course is a very squiffy area, something I would not particularly agree with. But thank you very much, both of you, again, for your expertise, whizzing us through all of today's news. Of course, Andre Walker there and Joe Phillips as well. Now, coming up in the next hour, how to deal with COVID shaming, ladies and gentlemen. We'll be telling you all about that.
It's time to remind ourselves there's always another winter. Canary Islands sponsors the weather.
Hi there, welcome to the latest forecast. It looks likely that we'll see further hill snow across northern parts of Scotland through this morning. Foggy further south, and then blustery rain turns up later from the southwest because of this active weather front. You can see the extent of mild air across the UK at the moment, but still some cold conditions in the north, and that's led to falling and settling snow over the higher ground of Scotland overnight. Northern Scotland still subject to a weather warning because of the likelihood of disruption over some of the higher routes, I think, from that snowfall. Elsewhere, a lot of low cloud, fairly damp in the north, some hill fog and some low-lying fog through central areas during the morning and early part of the afternoon, before this weather front sends a band of rain and gusty winds in by the afternoon from the southwest. Mild in the southwest, colder further north, fairly bright in the far north of Scotland, albeit with a few wintry showers. And then we watch as this weather front brings some rain to the Midlands, South East England, East Anglia, and eventually it stalls across Northern Ireland, North Wales, Northern England, into the Midlands and parts of Norfolk and Suffolk by the morning of Christmas Day. Either side of that, quite a contrast in conditions, mild but blustery in the far southwest, colder and frosty as we begin things on Christmas Day in the far north. This is the place to be if you like crisp winter sunshine for Christmas Day. Plenty of that for northern and western Scotland. And some brighter skies for southern Scotland at times as well. Mild and blustery with showers in the southwest. And in between an awful lot of cloud, and that cloud covering hills, as well as bringing some light outbreaks of rain and perhaps hill snow to the Pennines. Possibility of Snowdonia and southern Scotland as well. Boxing Day is similar, with showers in the south and plenty of mild air here, colder and brighter further north, and in between areas of rain and hill snow. Bye-bye.
Canary Islands sponsors the weather.
You're watching GB News live across the UK and the world on our digital stream.
GB News is Britain's news channel.
We are the UK's home of discussion and debate from all perspectives.
We are here for you. Don't forget to join our YouTube community by clicking on that subscribe button.
And if you want the GB News app, you can click and catch up on programmes anytime.
We love to hear from you, so email us.
gbviews@gbnews.uk.
Thanks for being part of the GB News family.
My name is Andrew Doyle. Join me every Sunday evening at 7 p.m. for Free Speech Nation. This is a show where we address current affairs and news stories of the week with the help of two wonderful comedian panellists. I brought in comics because I want to give it a lighter edge, and also they work for less. See you there.
Join my show Farage, 7 p.m. till 8 p.m. Monday through Thursday, and there you will get opinion, analysis, debate, and I'll cover stories that nobody else dares to touch. And then for the last 15 minutes, talking pints. We're over a drink. We have a civilised conversation with someone. We very often disagree, but we do it in a grown-up way. Come and join me on Farage.
I'm Colin Brazier. I've reported from more than 70 countries around the world, covered wars from Afghanistan to Iraq, from Lebanon to the Balkans. I'm trying to bring that experience, that feel for events, to the studio. And something else, I'm ready to give an opinion. Today's stories with a spark. Brazier from 8 p.m. weekdays on GB News.
It's Christmas Eve, everybody, and there's no better way to wake up than with the great British breakfast. And we've got a packed show for you this morning, so here's what's coming up.
Yep, hope for New Year's Eve as the Telegraph reports the Prime Minister will give only strong advice to limit indoor mixing next week, stopping short of proposing new rules as the booster rollout continues.
Indeed, and COVID shame, everybody. Are you one of the many experiencing that right now? We'll be speaking to a psychologist and relationship expert as people start pointing the finger as to who's made them ill.
And wait for this is deeply festive because we're going to be crossing live to Bethlehem on this Christmas Eve, where we'll be speaking to a reverend about the year that was and his hopes for the future.
Oh, it's wholesome stuff, isn't it? Absolutely, yes. And this morning, we want to know who should make Santa's naughty and nice list this Christmas. Loads of people getting in touch with that. So good people, bad people, let us know who you think. GBviews at gbnews.uk. And, of course, tweet us at GBnews.
Now, people in England will be able to get their COVID booster jabs on Christmas Day and Boxing Day as the NHS ramp up efforts to tackle Omicron.
Indeed. Well, the Prime Minister, Boris Johnson, has used his Christmas message to urge people to get a booster vaccine, calling it a wonderful gift.
For millions of families up and down the country, I hope and believe that this Christmas is and will be significantly better than the last in this vital respect. That we can celebrate together with those we love and raise our glasses to those who can't be with us. And though the time for buying presents is theoretically running out, there is still a wonderful thing you can give your family and the whole country, and that is to get that jab.
Get that jab, absolutely. Well, it comes as an official report confirms that the Omicron variant is milder than Delta, which is good news, I think, isn't it? And further restrictions now, fingers crossed anyway, look a bit less likely. So New Year's Eve may be saved after all.
However, there's always a however. The Times, who else, is reporting this morning that some people may need a fourth jab to remain protected.
Yes, well, and with those case numbers being so high, will as many people be travelling across the country to see friends and family this year? Well, our Yorkshire and Humber reporter, Kevin Larkin, he's still there, ladies and gentlemen.
Is it always getting a bit light out there?
We sent him out, we sent this poor bloke out on Christmas Eve, early doors.
Supposedly to the M1.
To go and watch traffic for us. So thank you very much, Kevin. How's the traffic?
Well, yeah, morning, Patrick and Alex. Merry Christmas. It's picking up a little bit. It's steady away. I think if you are heading out shortly, it shouldn't be too bad. Well, the AA is expecting the traffic levels overall to be back to those pre-pandemic levels for Christmas Eve. 17.8 million cars will be hitting the road today. That's 54% of all motorists. And they have a list of the worst motorways which you may be able to avoid. The M25, the M5 near Bristol, the M6 near Birmingham, the M1 around Luton, as well as the M60, M62, M4 and M27. I fear that probably covers most of them. But there is some good news that National Highways says that almost 98% of roadworks on motorways and A roads are going to be removed to help tackle that Christmas congestion.
Absolutely. Right, now, Kevin, I don't know if you could hear us before, maybe probably deafened by the noise of the M1, but we received a conspiracy theorist.
A conspiracy theorist. She doesn't think you're on the M1. Jill emailed in to say, I think it looks suspiciously like the bridge near my house, junction 24 of the M6. And she's trying to smoke you out because she's just sent another email saying if you are at junction 24 of the M6, you're more than welcome to pop in for a brew.
Where are you, Kevin? Where are you, really?
Well, right now, I would love to be at junction 24 of the M6 just for that brew. But I am sort of about junction 33 of the M1, just behind. I mean, depending on whether I can break rules or not, I can turn around and show you some signs to prove that I am in Yorkshire.
Do you think next thing you know, Paul Kev's going to be super glued to the protesting against his workers' rights?
Oh, gosh. Oh, well, look, thank you very much, Kevin, for bringing us all that. And I hope, could I just ask, are you managing to make it home for Christmas, or what are you doing?
Once I'm sort of finished up, I'm going to be joining those people on the M1, heading down to my mum in London.
Good stuff, Kevin, and we really appreciate it, mate,
Kevin
honestly.
Larkin, car counter.
Kevin Larkin, absolutely. Be a reporter, they said. It'll all be glamour.
Covering all the M's.
Oh, fair play to Kevin there. You love to see it. Thank you very much. Kevin Larkin there, who actually, over the course of this year, it must be said, has been an absolute sensation for us here on GB News, bringing us loads of reports from that part of the world, including some massive, on a much more serious note, some massive exposés on the grooming gang situation.
Yeah, it's been amazing on that.
Really shining a light on that, and very, very worthy stuff indeed.
Now, COVID has been ripping through London with more than 26,000 cases recorded yesterday. It's been less than a week since the Mayor of London declared a major incident in the capital. Our London reporter Alice Porter has tested positive and is at home isolating. But look, she's still working.
What a trooper. Thank you very much. Sorry to hear that. I wasn't aware of that, unfortunately, but I suppose you and hundreds of thousands of others, I suppose, in a way. But tell us about how bad the situation is in London at the moment.
Well, I mean, it's pretty bad. I mean, it's at the beginning of the pandemic, London very much bore the brunt of COVID cases, and then it kind of moved north. But now, because of the new Omicron variant, it's so dominant here in London, it's having such a big impact. I mean, if we look across London, 90% of cases in London are believed to be of the Omicron variant. And if we look at the worst affected councils, there's Hackney, Lambeth, Southwark and Wandsworth. And I think what's so alarming is the speed of which this has happened. I mean, half of boroughs in London say cases have doubled within the past week. So the speed of it is just sort of so alarming for so many people. But there's also been new data this week showing that a third of Londoners are not vaccinated. So I think that was quite a stark statistic when I read it this week. So if anyone's watching this, it's not too late. Please do go out. You can get vaccinated. If we look at the infections and numbers where they're sort of falling, again, that's quite interesting. It's mostly hitting sort of the 25 to 29-year-olds, which is interesting, but also the 90 plus, and their case numbers there have doubled in the past week. And I think the real concern is with case numbers being so high in London and with many people now leaving London, hitting the road, like we were hearing from Kevin's report there, what the concern is of bringing that Omicron variant to other areas across the country.
Yeah, indeed. And how are London hospitals actually coping at the moment then?
Well, the good news is that Omicron is less severe than Delta, so that's really important to sort of stress that. But the problem is it inevitably ends up impacting on staff shortages if we look at our NHS hospitals. So if we look at the NHS trust within London, staff absences have more than doubled in the past week. We're almost looking at 4,000 people who are off sick, or, once you know you have got COVID, you can't still be working with staff. So even if you're not sick, you have to remove yourself from the situation. And that's having a big impact on patient care because we've had non-urgent operations have been cancelled. Now, Dr. Laura Smith, she's a respiratory consultant at King's College Hospital, and here she gives us quite a moving interview about the impact that Omicron is now having on hospitals in London.
Most of our staff are fully vaccinated, but they still have to isolate if they're contacts, and we still have had staff contract COVID, and that puts huge pressure on our systems. We are always kind of running with just enough staff, and anything that puts that in danger is a real problem. So we're spending quite a bit of time having to reshuffle and be extremely flexible, and people take on different roles or wards to make sure that we're well staffed. The other thing that's difficult, I guess, is that this is just quite relentless. So we've been working through this for a long time now. It's tiring to work with PPE all the time. It's difficult trying to communicate well with people in PPE when they're at their sickest, and we're trying to show how much we care and to explain to them clearly what's happening. And that's difficult with all the challenges we have.
That was Dr. Laura Smith there from King's College Hospital. And I think you can really see there, quite sort of in the middle of that clip, how the sort of toll that is taking on NHS staff. We've obviously worked incredibly hard over the last couple of years. And so, yes, it's good news that this new variant doesn't appear to have such adverse effects that we've seen with other variants, but it still obviously is having an impact on staff who've obviously just been working so hard over the last 2 years.
How are you faring there, Alice?
Yeah.
I mean, you've tested positive. Have you got many symptoms?
I'm a bit coldsy, I'd say. I mean, for me, I'd had my booster, although I don't think my booster kind of kicked in on time. I think I probably had my booster a few days before I got infected, so it's kind of not quite worked yet. So I'm just kind of feeling a bit coldsy and a bit worse for wear. I mean, I don't think anything too terrible yet, although the timing of it is definitely the thing that's hurting me more than anything, I think.
Absolutely sorry. Obviously, I wouldn't want to pry too much into your personal life or anything like that, but are you isolating now for Christmas? What's going on?
Yeah, I'm isolating for Christmas, and so it's been a bit of an interesting struggle in terms of trying to work out how we're going to get food, because my partner's also isolating. So if anyone is watching and we were trying to work out how are we going to get food and things like that. There are quite a few apps out there, so if you can't get a delivery slot from some of the sort of major sort of supermarkets, which has proved quite difficult, there are some apps out there. There's one called Gorillas that I was looking at, and that they deliver in Reading, Manchester, Southampton. There's quite a few in London specifically. So if you haven't got any food, and don't despair, there are a few apps out there that will bring you your groceries. So that will, hopefully will give some good advice for some people. And do also remember, after 7 days, you can take 2 lateral flow tests and hopefully get out of your isolation. So I hope that might give some good new cheer for people who may be having a slightly challenging Christmas like me.
Absolutely. Well, look, so sorry to hear that, but thank you so much, Alice. I must say, you've been an absolute revelation since you joined here at GB News, so thank you very much, Alice Porter, there, and have a great Christmas, and going above and beyond, doing some Omicron market research for us as well, really.
I know. What are your symptoms? How to get your food? And, exactly.
Oh,
do you know, today you've actually said, look, do you mind if I ask you a personal question? I hope you don't mind I'm prying. What are you? You're like a private detective.
This is your life. Also, I've just realised, just quickly, before we go to the wonderful Pam Spur, I earlier read out an email saying we've got a viewer all the way in Bethlehem, right? It turns out there's a Bethlehem in West Wales, and actually it was in Carmarthenshire, not actually the birthplace of Jesus Christ. So there we go. You live and learn. You live and learn. Some stuff about Wales there, but anyway, yes. So thank you very much, everyone who has been emailing in some lovely ones. We will go to those shortly. GBviews at gbnews.uk.
Now, as if contracting COVID-19 wasn't stressful enough, add another layer of mental torment to the illness with COVID shame. Yeah, it's when someone is being made to feel bad for catching coronavirus. How dare you? And ruining Christmas for themselves and others. Well, here to tell us more about this is Dr. Pam Spur, who's a psychologist and relationship expert. Good morning, Pam. What is the psychology behind COVID shame? Last year it was all about arguing about Brexit over the Christmas dinner, but now it's masks and jabs and lateral flows.
Whether or not you've had your PCR in time. Yeah. Exactly. Go on.
Well, good morning and happy Christmas Eve to everybody. The thing is about COVID shame is a social mechanism. In society, we use it to control people's behavior, to nudge them down the right direction. And of course, with COVID, it's all about, were you wearing your PPE? Were you distancing? Oh, well, then shame on you if you caught it. Now, I know because my family all got it back in March 2020, because we have little ones going to nursery in the family. And no matter how much PPE we wore, those little ones brought it into the house, So there's no shame when you literally can do everything, but there are still family members who maybe work in the NHS, so have a much higher contact with viral load. Or if you have little ones, then they don't wear masks, the little tots and stuff. So yeah, you can see how shame develops. But in so many circumstances, it's not justified.
No, absolutely. Of course it's not justified. You can't pin it on one person, especially if we're being told that this Omicron stuff is absolutely everywhere. You can't. There's no way you can identify it. Well, I was absolutely fine.
It was Derek, wasn't it? Until Derek came along.
Derek on the tube. Yeah, I knew it was him specifically who gave me COVID. You can't possibly have that, can you? But I suppose, actually, there's a lot of shame going around for the unvaccinated, isn't there, Dr. Pam?
Oh, there is. And, rightly so when you look at the stats. And of course, I understand some people have phobias about vaccinations, or they have actual medical reasons why they can't get vaccinated. But it is very important when the whole country is trying to get through this, that we use whatever there is to hand. And the vaccine and then the booster is one of the best tools we have. Shame is important in that sense. And it starts even in childhood. Think about when you catch your 7-year-old pinching some pennies out of your purse, and say that after a few drinks. And you say to them, you pull them aside and you go, hey, stealing is not good. We do not steal. You can't steal from stores and you cannot steal from my handbag. So there are good elements about shame. It teaches us that there are certain things that are unacceptable. And I think it's on a person's conscience. I know people who will not feel shame at all. because they feel, oh, this is all a conspiracy and whatever. So they won't feel shame about not getting vaccinated, or even if they catch what they don't believe that they can catch because they don't believe in it. But that shame mechanism could, work on most of us, but not on people with that kind of attitude towards COVID.
OK, all right. Can I just ask, what does Christmas look like at Dr. Pam's?
This year we're having everybody, last year we were separated in our bubbles. We were obeying lockdown. We had one family member who was very vulnerable. And we are so happy. I cannot tell you the happiness the whole family feels, because we have a large family. They're all coming to mine. We have a big feast. We do lots of silly games after dinner, with charades and we put Post-it notes on your head. You have to guess who you are, which famous person you are, just silly things. So it's a lot of fun and a lot of love and laughter. And last year we didn't have that.
Right, well, I will see you tomorrow. I'll come off at 10 a.m. and I'll be right round to your place.
Go on, Dr. Pam's. I'm in hot pursuit as well.
A glass of fizz for you.
Yes, fantastic. Dr. Pam, thank you very much, and a very, very happy Christmas to you and yours. I'm sure it'll be wonderful, and thank you for making the time for us on Christmas Eve as well. So thank you very much, Dr. Pam. I hope that no one out there is feeling COVID shame. You shouldn't feel COVID shame at all. You shouldn't feel shame if you're unvaccinated, in my opinion.
Just crack on, do you. Don't listen to the naysayers.
Look, you do you, all right? If you decide that you don't want to get jabbed, who is anyone to force you to go and get jabbed? If you think that people who don't get jabbed are idiots, you're more than entitled to think that as well. Live and let live, people. That's what I say. Right, going to go to you now. Some views. GB views at gbnews.uk. And loads of you have been getting in touch. And Angela, thank you. Strong name, Angela. Same name as my grandma. Patrick, here we go. Like a bit of this, Angela. The best Christmas present for this country would be you as Prime Minister. I've always said that. I've always said it. No, you don't think I'd make a good Prime Minister? No.
Of what?
Of this fair nation.
I might let you be Prime Minister of the Isle of Dogs or something.
I'd take that. I would take that, and I'd run it into the.
Would that be if you got a peerage? Is that what you'd be, Lord Dogs?
Lord Dogs, yeah. So just so I could relentlessly make the joke, it's all gone to the dogs, until everyone's like, just shut up. We've heard it about 15 times.
I can see you coming into the House of Lords. Who let the dogs?
Yeah, and then never get asked back. Just go and sit down then. It's the Lord Sugar and shut up. Anyway, right, OK. So. Yes, people are saying about Kevin Larkin. There's a lot of love for our Kevin Larkin. A lot of love for the Lark. Who we sent out to the M1 to watch cars for a bit, because apparently it's going to be very busy with people driving home. Perhaps your traffic reporter could tally up how many cars he spots with a headlight not working.
Jeff here has clearly, blatantly plagiarised a joke that I made an hour ago saying, "Hi, Patrick." Everyone starts their emails with "Hi, Patrick." Am I invisible to you people? The name's Alex. Come on, I want a bit of love on here.
Patriarchy.
And, well, basically, it is, Patrick News, things you seem to do like every show on this channel.
I did say...
I was actually emailed in saying
my plan's coming together. Welcome to Patrick Christie's TV, ladies and gentlemen.
Welcome to Christie's Mass.
Nice one.
But anyway, Jeff has said, "Hi, Patrick." Jeff.
Hi, Jeff.
Is it true that there is a new variant spreading through France? Some say it's called Omicron. Jeff, I made that joke already. I've done it. Not only do you not recognise me in the emails, you're nicking my humour. I think that's bang out of order.
Bang out of order, Jeff, but you have a lovely Christmas, mate. And there we go. Thank you very much for all of your emails. Go on.
Quite a few coming in the naughties list as well. Nicola Sturgeon featuring heavily on the naughty list.
Good, you love to see.
Yeah, and actually a lot of GB News are featuring on the nice list.
Oh, yes, thank you very much, everyone. Well, look, we'll go to your views throughout the show, obviously. Thank you so much, everyone who has been emailing in and wishing us well, GB views at gbnews.uk, and lots on Twitter as well at GBNews. But after the break... Oh, God, what am I doing again?
It's round 3 of the rap battle. Yep, that's right. If you've left tarting your Christmas gifts up until the last minute, we're going to have some tips for you. Patrick's going to show you how to deftly wrap a Christmas present using teeth and talons.
So basically, we're going to have
your way through.
We're going to have a competition. If you've not seen it already, where have you been? Where Alex and I try to wrap a present and see who gets it better, and she always does. But first, it's the weather.
It's time to remind ourselves there's always another winter. Canary Islands sponsors the weather.
Hi there, welcome to the latest forecast. It looks likely that we'll see further hill snow across northern parts of Scotland through this morning. Foggy further south, and then blustery rain turns up later from the southwest because of this active weather front. You can see the extent of mild air across the UK at the moment, but still some cold conditions in the north, and that's led to falling and settling snow over the higher ground of Scotland overnight. Northern Scotland still subject to a weather warning because of the likelihood of disruption over some of the higher routes, I think, from that snowfall. Elsewhere, a lot of low cloud, fairly damp in the north, some hill fog and some low-lying fog through central areas during the morning and early part of the afternoon, before this weather front sends a band of rain and gusty winds in by the afternoon from the southwest. Mild in the southwest, colder further north, fairly bright in the far north of Scotland, albeit with a few wintry showers. And then we watch as this weather front brings some rain to the Midlands, South East England, East Anglia, and eventually it stalls across Northern Ireland, North Wales, Northern England, into the Midlands and parts of Norfolk and Suffolk by the morning of Christmas Day. Either side of that, quite a contrast in conditions, mild but blustery in the far southwest, colder and frosty as we begin things on Christmas Day in the far north. This is the place to be if you like crisp winter sunshine for Christmas Day. Plenty of that for northern and western Scotland, and some brighter skies for southern Scotland at times as well. Mild and blustery with showers in the southwest, and in between an awful lot of cloud, and that cloud covering hills, as well as bringing some light outbreaks of rain and perhaps hill snow to the Pennines. Possibility of Snowdonia and southern Scotland as well. Boxing Day is similar, with showers in the south and plenty of mild air here, colder and brighter further north, and in between areas of rain and hill snow. Bye-bye.
Canary Islands sponsors the weather.
You're watching GB News live across the UK and the world on our digital stream.
GB News is Britain's news channel.
We are the UK's home of discussion and debate from all perspectives.
We are here for you. Don't forget to join our YouTube community by clicking on that subscribe button.
And if you want the GB News app, you can click and catch up on programmes anytime.
We love to hear from you, so email us.
gbviews@gbnews.uk.
Thanks for being part of the GB News family.
My name is Andrew Doyle. Join me every Sunday evening at 7 p.m. for Free Speech Nation. This is a show where we address current affairs and news stories of the week with the help of two wonderful comedian panellists. I brought in comics because I want to give it a lighter edge, and also they work for less. See you there.
Join my show Farage, 7 p.m. till 8 p.m. Monday through Thursday, and there you will get opinion, analysis, debate, and I'll cover stories that nobody else dares to touch. And then for the last 15 minutes, talking pints. We're over a drink. We have a civilised conversation with someone. We very often disagree, but we do it in a grown-up way. Come and join me on Farage.
I'm Colin Brazier. I've reported from more than 70 countries around the world, covered wars from Afghanistan to Iraq, from Lebanon to the Balkans. I'm trying to bring that experience, that feel for events, to the studio. And something else. I'm ready to give an opinion. Today's stories with a spark. Brazier from 8 p.m. weekdays on GB News.
Join us for Political Correction. We're here every Sunday to correct politics and put you, the people, back in charge.
We talk about all areas of the United Kingdom, including Northern Ireland.
Our debate goes way beyond the Westminster Village. It's about the real country. It's about your opinion. So please, we want you to tell us what you think.
This is Political Correction.
Every Sunday morning from 10 a.m. here on GB News.
You're watching GB News live across the UK, the world, and our digital stream.
GB News is Britain's news channel.
We are the UK's home of discussion and debate from all perspectives.
We're here for you. Don't forget to join our community by hitting the subscribe button.
and download the GB News app so you can click and catch up on programmes anytime.
We love to hear from you. Email us at gbviews@gbnews.uk.
Thanks for being part of the GB News family.
Yes, well, it's Christmas Eve, everybody. Happy Christmas Eve. And hundreds of people will be welcomed into Newcastle Central Station for a festive lunch, apparently, run by charity North East Homeless.
Yeah, the team is about to start preparing food at their base in North Shields, and our North East of England reporter Rachel Sweeney will be there later this morning, and she tells us she will be peeling vegetables. But for now, let's take a look at the service that supports thousands of homeless people across the North East region.
In the heart of North Shields is a trendy community hub. It's a welcoming space for anyone. There are shelves of food for the hungry, warm clothes for the cold, and the lonely always have a friend. Dignity is important to the team here. They have a till where no money is taken, so children can experience doing a weekly shop. Nobody is turned away. Everybody is treated with respect.
I've always wanted to do some sort of helping people that haven't got anything. I grew up with just my mum. My mum brought the three up. My dad died when I was 9. And I've always experienced like the poverty side of things. And then you find out later on in life that your mum was missing meals so you could eat, and this type of thing. And so it's always been there. But then I passed a young lad in Newcastle, and it was raining, and he had no coat and everything, and I got talking to him, and as he walked away, I seen the bottom of his shoe, and it didn't have a sole on his shoe, and I was like, this isn't good enough. It's like, how can we be in a country like England that's like this?
And so North East Homeless began. NEH relies on donations, and they have a fair few celebrity supporters, including Geordie musician Sam Fender, who often pops in to play the piano. A team of 11 helps thousands of street friends through their centre and their outreach work.
So people that work here have had some sort of crisis, I guess. Like Earl, who works for us, so he was 25 years on and off street homeless, multiple addictions. When he worked over here, it's like, I give him the keys as just like, I've got to go, can you lock up? And then I found out later he was crying in the corner because no one had trusted him with that type level of trust.
14 years old, I ran away from South Shields. I've been in every care home in South Tyneside, to the point of I ended up hitchhiking up and down the country until I reached Bristol at 18 when my son was born, the BRI. And then I woke up one morning and she ran away with my son. And that day, my friend introduced me to what I know now is heroin. I never knew what it was at the time, so I became, for 19 years after that, a heroin crack cocaine addict, 20 years an alcoholic, 20 years a methadone user. And now I'm over 5 years clean, 4 years dry and 3 years off the methadone, and got my first ever job in my life with North East Homeless. And my first ever council property, I've got a lovely bungalow over Cleedon Hills.
Earl has even started hosting poetry evenings, encouraging others to be open about addiction.
And I'm proud to say I am now 5.5 years clean, 4.5 years dry, 3.5 years off the methadone.
One life drastically changed by North East Homeless.
Well, our Rachel is at North East Homeless in North Shields for us now. Rachel, how is that food prep going? 200 guests, I hear. Get peeling.
Happy Christmas, guys. Yes, welcome to North Shields. We're at North East Homeless with the most amazing team. A couple of minutes ago, this whole area was packed full of hampers. So there are 200 people coming for lunch at Newcastle train station today. There's also 56 hampers going out to families in need. With me now is Brian, who's the founder of North East Homeless, and his son Ben, who's been helping. Brian, what does today mean to you?
Everything really. It's quite an emotional day. A lot of planning goes into what we do. This is the third time we've held a meal in Central Station in Newcastle, and it's just unfortunately, it's getting busier and busier. There's just more people struggling and stuff, you know. So it's proud, but it's quite sad as well and poignant, and makes you appreciate your stuff, you know.
You always talk about how dignity is really important to the team here, and you did something extra special to make sure families got their hampers.
Yeah, we did. So we're helping 56 families that are struggling this time of year. So we did. We've got 56 hampers going out, as you said, and we did it as a prize. So it's not like a food bank like donation or whatever like that. It's a prize that they've won. So we sent some little flyers to the homes just to tell the families that they've won a prize, and hopefully that'll free up some money that we're keeping aside for their lunch to enjoy Christmas or something, you know, or even, which is even sadder, they might use it to put gas and electric on, you know. It's.
I love the compassion and the kindness that comes out of North East Homeless. Is that something that you're passing on to Ben? Ben, how are you going to help today?
I don't know.
Are you going to be good?
Yeah.
You're going to do lots of running around for it.
We're going to put Ben in charge of condiments and maybe peeling some potatoes. Brian, what can people expect from the event today at the train station?
So yeah, so we're gearing up for about 200 people coming. So they're going to get a full turkey Christmas dinner, Christmas pudding and everything. But we've got a choir coming on. We've got like just a few guests popping in to say hello and that. So yeah, it's been a rotten year for a lot of people, but it's been a rotten year for people that are struggling and on the street, you know. So it's just, if it makes them a bit of normality for a little bit, a couple of hours, we're trying our best for that, you know.
Absolutely wonderful stuff here at North East Homeless. Well, we're going to pack up the cars and head to Newcastle train station now. I'll be back in a couple of hours live from Newcastle train station. Do join me throughout the day with North East Homeless.
Much, Rachel, good stuff, and well done everybody there as well, and I hope every single person has a lovely, wonderful Christmas as well. It's nice to see people, well, I suppose turning their lives around as well to an extent, but also just doing good for others.
Mucking in and helping other people.
Mucking in and helping
We love
other
it.
people.
We love to see it.
Absolutely. Well, against my better judgment, ladies and gentlemen, it is time for the final round of our ultimate rap battle.
Yeah, we're going to battle it out fair and square to see who can create the most jaw-dropping, well, I mean, Patrick's will be the most jaw-dropping, definitely, gift-wrapping masterpiece. But first of all, oh, not this again. Let's take a look how an expert does it.
She's just someone wrapping
Oh,
it
no,
up.
we haven't got the audio.
Unfortunately, we haven't got the audio with it, but if we did have the
goodness.
audio, it would probably just say, now I'm wrapping a book, and then they wrap it, and they sellotape it, and that's about it, really. So well done, whoever's hands they are.
That video made me laugh so much when we had the Darth Vader voice dubbed over the top.
Yes, absolutely. Well, we are being told to...
Oh, we've got to start rapping. Hold on.
We're wrapping a GB
30
News
seconds. Stop wasting time.
What? Has he got 20
28.
I'm going for the scrunch and roll, scrunch and roll, scrunch and roll. Where's my sellotape gone, you thieving little witch?
Keep your pulse to yourself, Christy.
Where is it? Oh, I hope you're happy. I hope you're happy. You've cheated. Yeah, technically I've done it, actually. There you go. Well, there we go. I've done it. I've snuffed it. What, literally? Well, that's very well wrapped.
4,
3, 2, 1. OK, and that thankfully is the end of this feature. So,
go on. I think I'll try and unwrap
I actually
that.
honestly think I've won this one.
Let's have a competition to see who can unwrap it fastest. Ready? 3, 2, 1. Oh, yay! I win.
Oh, I didn't even get a chance to use the scissors. OK, well done. I hope you're happy. I hope you feel very happy.
And that is mummified.
That is mummified. No one's getting into that mug anytime soon.
You've got the sellotape banding.
Yes, well, there we go.
Got a handle.
Yes, I hope certainly every single person watching at home is a much better rapper than I am, because I can't really. But yeah, anyway, there we go. That was something.
I can't believe you called me a thieving witch on live television.
You're lucky that's all I said. Right, OK, coming up, we will be joined, by the Reverend Fadi Diab. That's a bit of a segue, isn't it? Live from Bethlehem, who will talk to us about what's going on there.
You're watching GB News live across the UK and the world on our digital stream.
GB News is Britain's news channel.
We are the UK's home of discussion and debate from all perspectives.
We are here for you. Don't forget to join our YouTube community by clicking on that subscribe button.
And if you want the GB News app, you can click and catch up on programmes anytime.
We love to hear from you, so email us.
gbviews@gbnews.uk.
Thanks for being part of the GB News family.
My name is Andrew Doyle. Join me every Sunday evening at 7 p.m. for Free Speech Nation. This is a show where we address current affairs and news stories of the week with the help of two wonderful comedian panellists. I brought in comics because I want to give it a lighter edge, and also they work for less. See you there.
Join my show Farage, 7 p.m. till 8 p.m. Monday through Thursday, and there you will get opinion, analysis, debate, and I'll cover stories that nobody else dares to touch. And then for the last 15 minutes, talking pints. We're over a drink. We have a civilised conversation with someone. We very often disagree, but we do it in a grown-up way. Come and join me on Farage.
I'm Colin Brazier. I've reported from more than 70 countries around the world, covered wars from Afghanistan to Iraq, from Lebanon to the Balkans. I'm trying to bring that experience, that feel for events, to the studio. And something else, I'm ready to give an opinion. Today's stories with a spark. Brazier from 8 p.m. weekdays on GB News.
Just to let you know, we did not just have a Jedi battle with the wrapping paper during the advert break. We did not do that.
No, nothing was broken in the studio.
Very tidy behind us.
Absolutely, 100%, because we're professionals.
We are. Now, Santa Claus is going to be very busy tonight, as per usual, delivering presents to children all over the world and dodging those travel restrictions and PCR tests as he goes.
Absolutely. Well, our South East reporter, Ellie Costello, caught up with him in the run-up to Christmas in, believe it or not, Essex.
He loves Essex.
He loves that. Santa loves Essex.
He does.
As he delivered presents to children living in temporary accommodation in Basildon.
Christmas huge operation led by head elf George.
It's for the kids, you know, we want to spread a bit of joy, particularly this year where we've had obviously the coronavirus. This is just spreading that joy that we need at Christmas. And a lot of people this year in particular who are self-isolating in their homes have got the chance to see Santa. You know, they've not got the chance to go into the shopping malls and see them, but they can from their house.
Hello! You look very warm, loving the red.
It's a lovely town. It's full of very nice people, a real good mixture, and there's some families that are really struggling at this time of year. You know, we've had a very difficult time with COVID and everything else, and you know, the community here pulls together very well, and there's some wonderful people who like to raise money, and they get my help to come and do that, and then we try to give out some presents as well, just to make everybody's Christmas that bit more special.
This festive tradition reminds us all that giving is what Christmas is all about. Ellie Costello, GB News.
Yes, thank you, Ellie, and thank you, Santa, as well, of course. Well, staying with presents, Santa's going to be finalising his naughty and nice list before heading out on his sleigh shortly. And we're asking you this morning, who would you nominate? Who's been naughty this year? Who's been nice as far as you're concerned?
Yeah, a lot of you have been getting in touch, emailing, saying Nicola Sturgeon should absolutely be on the naughty list. I mean, she has been plunging Scotland into far more restrictions than south of Hadrian's Wall, that's for sure.
Yes, indeed. So, yes, well, apparently Nicola Sturgeon is certainly one of many people, there she is, one of many people who you think has been a bit naughty this year. We did have Emma Raducanu was nominated for the nice list, wasn't she?
Yes, she was. She did a nice job, certainly.
Yeah, absolutely, yes. So there's loads of people getting in touch on this one, so make sure that you keep doing that. We do love to hear from you. So, yes, there we go. Right, I think we're going to have a look at this morning's headlines now, aren't we? We're going to go through a lovely paper reviews. There we go. We've got, of course, Andre Walker, political commentator, and Joe Phillips as well. The wonderful Joe Phillips. So, where should we start?
Hang on, why wasn't I wonderful?
You're all right.
God. This is how I feel this morning.
Because I was so nice about the wrapping.
No,
I was. I've
had
to
put
with you for years.
I've come here Christmas Eve just because it's you two, and then nobody's nice to me.
Just because it's us.
Just because it's us. Oh.
They're good payers.
There we go. Right, what's in the news? Do your job.
Right, do your job. Go on,
right, so one of the stories that I thought was really, really sad, because actually at this time of year it's a good time to reflect on what's happened during the year. The University of Hong Kong has taken down its statue commemorating those people who were killed by the communist Chinese regime in Tiananmen Square. Now, look, We've all had statues taken down, we've all railed against it and whatever, but this is actually a crackdown on freedom and democracy by President Xi, a man I think that we've tolerated far too much. And to see people in Hong Kong, you know something, we've got students in our universities desperate to take down statues, students in Hong Kong fighting for democracy, fighting to remember people who've fallen for freedom. Being ridden over roughshod.
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely. No, I completely agree with Andre, which is odd.
Oh, here we go.
That's a breakdown of goodwill. But it's really important, and they're not even allowed to mention Tiananmen Square.
No.
It's not just any visible signs. It's absolutely not just airbrushing. It's sandblasting.
But this comes from a man in President Xi who's banned Winnie the Pooh from Google in China because he thinks he looks like Winnie the Pooh, right? I mean, it's just pathetic.
Yeah, absolutely. Yes, no, indeed. And obviously what's been going on in Hong Kong, in fact, we've had to, well, not had to, we've offered, I suppose, haven't we, to take in potentially thousands.
We haven't really heard much of how that's going, have we? Any reports of how many people have taken
I thought you were about to say...
I
thought you were about to say we've offered to go over there and sort it out.
No, yeah.
Come on.
Right then.
Liz Truss, she'll deal with it. Well, that takes us on neatly to...
Oh, here we go.
I know.
What is wrong with you?
Putin.
Oh, he's naughty.
Ever been bored? Ever been bored in your life? 4-hour-long press conference of Vladimir Putin, warning us in the West that the troops build-up in Ukraine is because we are threatening. I think we need to keep an eye on this. I think while we're all concentrating on other things and at home, this is very dangerous. You've talked about China, Andre. I think Russia too. I think we need to be very mindful. I think next year will be very testing.
Are you concerned about what's potentially going on in Ukraine?
Yes,
absolutely. I mean, it does seem to me... It's one of those things I was thinking about the other day, actually, for as long as I've been alive, this idea of war with Russia has always kind of been there, whether it's just even been softly dripped in with the likes of, various films or things like that, or just the fact that Vladimir Putin's a bit of a kind of old-school hard man, right? But actually now, I'm starting to wonder whether or not we actually might get war with Russia.
The problem is, of course, when Putin went into Crimea, annexed it completely illegally, the international community basically went tut, tut, tut and did absolutely nothing. So he thinks he can act with impunity. I think the biggest problem that we have, actually, is what China's up to in the South China Sea.
But you've also got, Belarus. You've got Belarus, you've got Crimea, you've got Ukraine. It wouldn't surprise me in the slightest with this build-up of troops that all of a sudden, while our eyes are deflected on other things...
I mean, there are a lot of disputes. I mean, I remember, funnily enough, you think about how pathetic we are as an international community. I'd say this is a serious comment. The only thing that Georgia could do when they were invaded was they had a song in the Eurovision Song Contest about somebody who joins a party you don't like that they called a Putin. And they said, we don't want a Putin. And that got banned. And you think the only one thing that these people could do, tiny little country, trying to stand up for their rights, was put something in the Eurovision Song Contest. We didn't even allow them to do that. I have to say something. The reality is, you like it as Russia or you don't like it. The Soviet Union's headquarters, the Kremlin, is not trusted, whether it's Russia or whether it's the Soviet Union in general. Ukraine is not Vladimir Putin's back garden. It is a country that was badly abused by a communist regime that existed in Russia. And unfortunately, these people do not want to be under the cosh of the Kremlin. And it's unbelievable. I mean, when countries think the European Union's a democratic option, then you think, how bad is it for something like that?
It is a divided nation, though, Ukraine, because you've got the sort of Russian-speaking side in the east and the more sort of westward-leaning side in the west. So Ukraine itself is sort of a bit...
And nobody's going to dispute that the Black Sea fleet at Sebastopol with the nuclear submarines, nobody believes that should be Ukrainian. But then again, Russia always had that at the fall of the Soviet Union anyway. I just think, look, the big problem is Vladimir Putin traditionally has been brilliant at just stealing money off the Russian taxpayer, secretly taking shares in and staying in power. He actually appears to be doing something. But is he anything more than a schoolyard bully?
He's played a blinder, hasn't he, when it comes to things like energy prices and using that as leverage, because he wants the Nord Stream 2 gas pipe built between Russia and Germany. The big soaring gas prices, by and large, is down to the terrible mismanagement of energy policy on the continent of Europe. We haven't exactly fared much better. And now we find out that as Russia's umming and ahhing over this gas pipeline, which they desperately need, and Putin's saying, I'm just going to turn off the supply and put prices up a little bit more. You want that pipeline, do you? Germany is decommissioning 5 nuclear power stations. And you think, where is the logic in this? It's playing into Putin's
and where is the long term? And you think about the money that's been invested in previously barren tracts of land in Uzbekistan and Tajikistan and those sort of places. That sounds like a good thing at the beginning.
Yeah.
But the long term is that whoever's put that money in will own the food production. So there's another way, and I think the other area that we ought to look at, since we're doing a little bit of round the world foreign affairs.
Yes, absolutely.
Come on, it's Christmas.
Global Britain.
But it's the Balkans.
Sorry, I didn't hear.
The Balkans.
The Balkans, yes.
You know, there's a lot of simmering tension there, you know, and it's a long time ago since the war in Bosnia, but it's all beginning to come back to the surface.
I'm slightly concerned with Putin's involvement is that as he gets on a bit, as he gets older, you know, do people like him, does he traditional kind of strongman, does someone like become potentially more despotic the closer they get towards the end of their...
But the problem is with Putin...
Well, it's the who takes over, isn't it? It's the battle for...
Well, I don't think he can ever retire, you see, because the Russians have, as a lot of despotic regimes do, the second that someone steps aside, they normally end up getting prosecuted by their successor and or killed. And I imagine he'll stay. But
one of the things with Vladimir Putin that you've got to remember, he spent the first half of his time as president doing market liberalisations and whatever, that he spent the second half completely undoing. The guy has no interest in politics anymore. He has no interest in pushing Russia forward. He has a principle. I mean, look. It's widely said, and I won't name the person, but it's widely said that he phoned up an oligarch who lives in London to say that his yacht was now Vladimir Putin's, and that yacht is now staffed by the Russian Navy. You know, he's got, what is it, £1 billion house?
I think one of our big problems now on the international stage, we're sticking with geopolitics, is Joe Biden, because he just seems toothless. He doesn't seem to be able to stand up. I'm not saying Trump was a saint or anything like that, but I do worry very much about Joe Biden's...
Joe Biden thinks he's a duck living on Lake Michigan. The guy's completely away with it. He's got no idea what he's talking about.
You know, dull is better than Trump.
No.
But we've got Liz Truss.
The reality is about Joe Biden. Joe Biden is there to shine up the creatures that now lurk within the Democratic Party. Basically, let's get an old loony, let's get a guy who seems inoffensive in order to hide what I think is the bile of the Democratic Party. And I actually think that he is incredibly dangerous in that respect. But also, to hoodwink the American people into electing a non-entity like that in order...
The Afghanistan... just debacle, for want of a better word.
Let me give you a good story about Afghanistan, because there aren't very many. But there is a fabulous story in the FT today, and it's about the Afghan women footballers.
Oh, good.
Who, in the most extraordinary... I mean, this has got Hollywood written all over it and probably ruined. But it brings together a rabbi from New York who contacted Kim Kardashian.
There we go.
The owner of Leeds United, the Italian entrepreneur, and 100 million other people who managed to get these young women out of Afghanistan through all sorts of peculiar ways and routes, and they're now settled in the north of England. Beautiful photograph of them, smiling, playing football, wearing Leeds United shirts.
Good news story to finish us off. Thank you very, very much. I like that. It's a fantastic triumph.
It's not good news that you've moved to Leeds, is it? No.
Oh, here he is. There you go. No, fantastic. So, well, can I just say thank you very much to both of you for making so much time for us on Christmas Eve and for sticking around for so long as well. Much appreciated. I'm sure the nation is very grateful as well. Andre Walker, Joe Phillips, thank you very much. Have a lovely Christmas.
And
you as well. But yes, right, well, I understand that we are actually going to go to Bethlehem now, believe it or not. Actual Bethlehem, not the one in West Wales. No, not the one in Carmarthenshire. We're going to proper Bethlehem off of Jesus. Now, Christmas in Bethlehem is usually a festive and colourful season. So this year, festivities in the town are set to return, but the pandemic is still casting a shadow over those celebrations.
Yeah, the Reverend Fadi Diab, rector of St Andrew's Church, joins us live from Bethlehem right now. Wonderful. Great to see you, Reverend. So, tell us, what are the sort of... If we were in Bethlehem right now, what sort of thing would we be able to see and do to get us into that Christmas spirit?
Good morning. It's an honor to join you from the Holy Land and from the city of Bethlehem. Well, this is the time of the year when Bethlehem is a very busy city, full of activities and programs, Christmas carols, scout parades, services, children activities, youth activities. Everyone is celebrating the joy of Christmas at this time of the year. Unfortunately, that is not the full celebration that we had in the past years because of the pandemic. So there is this joy that the whole city, the whole Holy Land, is celebrating in spite of the difficulties and restrictions of the pandemic. And we hope that this pandemic comes to an end soon, so that people from all over the world can come and join the Palestinian Christian community to celebrate Christmas together. Unfortunately, the borders are closed due to the pandemic, and people from around the world cannot join the city and its joy.
Absolutely, yes, no, and it's obviously such a special place, isn't it? I mean, that goes without saying. It's almost a ludicrous thing to say. It's steeped in obviously religious history, and it must be. Does it have a real aura about it on days like Christmas there in Bethlehem?
Yeah, I mean, this is a historic place, but it is also attached to the hearts of millions around and even billions around the world. This is the birth place of our Lord Jesus Christ, who came to history, who entered into human history to transfer it, to change it into a better world, a better vision for God's dream, for God's world. So the order of the city is, as we begin in December, the whole city gathers, even with visitors from the rest of the Holy Land, who come to lighten the Christmas tree and initiating the Christmas activities and programs. And even it continues until January 18, when the last Armenian Christmas is celebrated. Because as you know, the different Christian traditions celebrate Christmas on different dates. The 25th of December for the Catholics, the 7th of January for the Orthodox, and then you have the Syriac and the Armenians.
All right, well, if you just very quickly, because we've only got about 1 minute left on this programme, but if I would just like you to maybe just give our viewers a little bit of positivity for the year ahead, if you just had to give them a little quick message.
Well, from the Holy Land, from the city of Bethlehem, 200 years ago, the angel appeared to pronounce and proclaim great joy to our world. And I think this is the great message of this Christmas, despite the messiness that we live in our world today, despite the political conflicts, despite the economic difficulties and hardships that people around the world are going through. This is a time when heaven proclaims great joy, a hopeful future, a better future. And to the Palestinian community in general, also this is a time of great news that their situation will be better in the future. Okay. That this is a time where we need to celebrate God's reign rather than human hegemony and control.
All right, well, look, sorry, I'm very sorry to interrupt. I'm very sorry to interrupt because it's really, really lovely, but we're going to have to get going, I'm afraid. But that was obviously Reverend Fadi Diab there, live from Bethlehem. Well, look, that's it from us this Christmas Eve. Thank you very much for everyone. I'll see you soon.
It's time to remind ourselves there's always another winter. Canary Islands sponsors the weather.
Hi there, welcome to the latest forecast. It looks likely that we'll see further hill snow across northern parts of Scotland through this morning. Foggy further south, and then blustery rain turns up later from the southwest because of this active weather front.
You can see the extent of mild air across the UK at the moment, but still some cold conditions in the north, and that's led to falling and settling snow over the higher ground of Scotland overnight. Northern Scotland still subject to a weather warning because of the likelihood of disruption over some of the higher routes, I think, from that snowfall. Elsewhere, a lot of low cloud, fairly damp in the north, some hill fog and some low-lying fog through central areas during the morning and early part of the afternoon, before this weather front sends a band of rain and gusty winds in by the afternoon from the southwest. Mild in the southwest, colder further north, fairly bright in the far north of Scotland, albeit with a few wintry showers. And then we watch as this weather front brings some rain to the Midlands, South East England, East Anglia, and eventually it stalls across Northern Ireland, North Wales, Northern England, into the Midlands and parts of Norfolk and Suffolk by the morning of Christmas Day. Either side of that, quite a contrast in conditions, mild but blustery in the far southwest, colder and frosty as we begin things on Christmas Day in the far north. This is the place to be if you like crisp winter sunshine for Christmas Day. Plenty of that for northern and western Scotland, and some brighter skies for southern Scotland at times as well. Mild and